What if Naruto become the powerful demonic Saiyan in Universe 11? But before we start, if you want more amazing stuff like this, then be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Also, if possible, share this video with your friends. Now, without wasting any more time, let's begin the story. A 6-year-old child is laying on a hospital bed with a bunch of wires attached to him. Any ordinary child would be dead with the amount of wounds that he has. But he is no ordinary child. He is the Jinchuriku of the Kyuubi no Yoko, Naruto Uzumaki. It was 6 years ago that the Kyuubi attacked and decimated Konoha. It was to the thanks to the Yondaime Hokage Minato Namikaze that Konoha is still standing today. Minato had fought the Kyuubi but couldn't defeat it. So he did the next best thing. Seal it into a newborn baby using a powerful Fuinjutsu, Shiki Fujin, Reaper Death Seal. He sealed the Kyuubi's soul into him while he gave Naruto the Kyuubi's chakra. The Yondaime Hokage died that day, but his last words was to make the villagers see Naruto as a hero for holding back the Kyuubi, but it was all for naught. The villagers didn't see Naruto as a hero. He was seen as a demon. The civilian council people tries to get Naruto executed, thus making a S-class secret about if somebody mentions anything about the Kyuubi without permission of the Hokage or Naruto will be executed. But somehow the word still got through. The Sandaime Hokage was an old and elderly man that should have retired 20 years ago. His name is Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Kami no Shinobi. Being thought by the Shoden and Nidaime Hokage, both godlike beings, tends to give you that title. But it was not why Shinobi calls him by that title. It was because what he did in the Second and Third Great Shinobi War. He trained the legendary Sennin, Jiraiya the Toad Sennin, Tsunade the Slug Sennin, and Orochimaru the Snake Sennin. Orochimaru was Hiruzen's favorite student. Orochimaru was Rookie of the Year of his graduating class. His parents were once Konoha shinobi, but they died in the First Great Shinobi War. After that, Orochimaru thrived to be strong. He first met Orochimaru at his parents' graveyard. They talked for a little while until he left. Unnerved by his potential as a shinobi that day, he made a vow to himself that he was going to train him when he graduates. His vow was complete when he had Orochimaru as one of his students. He trained him along with Tsunade and Jiraiya, but he trained Orochimaru the most out of the three. When Orochimaru got older, he noticed that Orochimaru was doing something very dark. He was experimenting on humans. At first, he wanted to deny it, that one of his students was kidnapping Konoha civilians and even shinobi and experimented on them. It was all for naught. He himself had caught Orochimaru experimenting on a small child in one of his hidden labs. Hiruzen couldn't kill his student, so he let Orochimaru go and placed him as a S-rank missing nin. Orochimaru, while still in Konoha, took his apprentice Anko Mitarashi and then went rouge. Anko returned 3 months later looking 3 years older than what she looked like before she left. Tsunade Senju was the top kunoichi of her graduating class. Her grandfather was Hashirama Senju, the Shoden Hokage, and her granduncle was Tobarama Senju, the Ninden Hokage. Tsunade, being the heiress to the Senju clan, had to bring the diminishing clan back into fame. She, along with her younger brother Nawaki, decided to become shinobi to put Senju back on top. As the years passed, Tsunade became a skilled kunoichi and medic nin. During the Second Great Shinobi War, she lost her younger brother Nawaki and her lover Dan Kato, who both vowed to become the next Hokage and both had received the Shoden's necklace. After the Third Great Shinobi War, Tsunade left Konoha with Dan's niece, Shizune, as her apprentice and vowed to never come back to Konoha. Jiraiya was the dead last or dobi in his graduating class. Jiraiya was born an orphan. His father died in First Great Shinobi War while his mother died giving birth to him. At a very young age, Jiraiya was very perverted, often teasing Tsunade that she has a flat chest when they were young. As he gotten older, the more perverseness he shows. When woman calls him a pervert, he will just deny it and calls himself a super pervert. Even though he is immature and acts childish, he knows when to get serious. He signed the Toad contract and became a Toad summoner. At the end of the Second Great Shinobi War, Jiraiya decided to stay and aimed to train 3 war orphans: Konan, Nagato, and Yahiko. After he thinks that they could defend themselves, he leaves them to go back to Konoha. When Jiraiya returns to Konoha, he takes Minato Namikaze as his apprentice and trains him. He then left Konoha to travel around the elemental nations writing a book titled The Tale of the Utterly Gutsy Shinobi. After seeing the book was not a bestseller, Jiraiya turned to his perverted side and created the book titled Icha Icha Paradise, which turned out to be a bestseller. Also, while he does his travels, he manages to put together a spy network. As the years go by, Jiraiya goes in to check on his apprentice and return with some news he get from his spy network and then leaves to do more of his research, which means peeking on women in hot springs. When his apprentice and his wife was pregnant, they decided that they was going to name their child after the main character out of his book, The Tale of the Utterly Gutsy Shinobi, Naruto, and making him Naruto's godfather. Now we got that done with, let's return with what we were doing. The Sandaime Hokage stood in front of Naruto's hospital bed as he stared at Naruto with sadness. "I'm sorry, Naruto. It seems like I failed you again. Can you give this old fool another chance?" Hiruzen said. Although Naruto was unconscious at the time, you can see Naruto's head go up and down like it was nodding. He was about to say something else, but an Enbu guard showed up. "Hokage-sama, the council has called a meeting," the Enbu guard said. "Thank you, Inu. Make sure nobody harms Naruto-kun," Hiruzen said. Enbu guard known as Inu nodded his head. "Will do, Hokage-sama," Inu said as he activates the invisibility cloak and walked out of the room to guard the entrance to the room. It all seems peaceful in the room, but you can't say that in the little boy's head. Naruto's mindscape Ayane, also known as the Kyuubi no Yoko, was growling. Why was she growling? It's 3 simple reasons. 1. She was controlled. Again. 2. She was sealed into an Uzumaki body for the 3rd time. Seriously, what the hell? 3. Her jailer was being attacked for the 20th time in his life. Seriously, this village is a child beater's heaven. There's the demon, not me. Ayane had to put a stop to it one way or another. She was just thinking that she could try and take over the young boy's body and show them not to attack her jailer again or face the consequences. She was about to start her plan when she remembered something that the Yonbi no Saru, son Goku, give her, the blood of his ancient race before the Rikudo Sennin discovered chakra, the Saiyan race. His blood and a rival named Vegeta, along with scrolls to show how to use Ki, the Great Ape transformation, and the Super Saiyan transformation. Ayane pulled out a large vial out of red-looking substance called blood. The blood of the 2 strongest warriors of Earth mixed together in one vial. "My jailer will be the strongest shinobi in the world. Watch out, Madara. Your time as the most powerful person on this planet is numbered," Ayane thought as she laughed maniacally. Her laughter stopped abruptly as she realized something. How am I going to get the brat to drink it? I can't just drag him here and tell him to drink it, Ayane thought. She then thought of something. It was underhanded, but it would work. After she reviewed her plan, she decided that she would put her plan into action now. Another part of Naruto's mindscape as Naruto opens his eyes, he found himself in a sewer. Naruto clenches his fists tightly. "Those bastards have the nerve to dump me into a sewerage system," Naruto yelled out loud. As Naruto is wandering around searching for an escape route, he hears a voice call out to him. "Walk towards my voice, Naruto," a soft-spoken voice said. Like a moth to a flame, Naruto followed the voice till he reached a large room with a huge cage with golden bars and a small sheet of paper with the word seal in kanji. Inside the cage was a young woman. This woman has long orangish red hair with light blue eyes. 1. She has an amazing figure with E-cup S and a perfectly round ass. She has fox-like ears on top of her head, and 9 orangish red with white tips fox-like tails behind her. If you look at her, it makes you feel like you is staring at a goddess, but if you look at her eyes, you'll see nothing but anger and rage. "Who are you and where am I?" Naruto asked. "You are in your mindscape, and my name is Ayane, but you know me by my other name," Ayane said. "What is your other name?" Naruto asked. Ayane signed, bracing herself for what is to come. "Kyuubi no Yoko," she said, depressed. At first there was silence. Ayane took it the wrong way, was about to talk to him but was interrupted by laughter. Thinking that he was laughing at her, she used Ki to stop his laughing. "What are you laughing for?" Ayane asked. Naruto stopped laughing and began to sweat. He felt Ki before, but not like this. He stood there frozen and couldn't say anything. Ayane noticed that Naruto was frozen stiff because of the Ki she was letting out and mentally winced. She stopped using it and apologized. "Sorry about that." Now can you tell me why you was laughing? Now I know why the villagers hate me and try to kill me. They don't see me as a human being, Naruto said as tears threatened to fall down. They see me as a demon, he said, trying to hold back his tears. He didn't want Ayane to see him cry. Ayane looked at Naruto sadly. She knew that he was telling the truth. Listen, Naruto, don't let that get you down. Use it to make you stronger, Ayane said. Naruto looked at Ayane and smiled. Thanks, Ayane-chan. Will you teach me how to be strong? Naruto asked. Ayane smiled. I'm going to do more than that, she said. Naruto looked at her confused. What do you mean? He asked. I'm going to give you a long-lost bloodline that was lost before the Rikudo Sennin, Ayane said. Rikudo Sennin? Naruto asked. The god of shinobi. He was the founder of ninjutsu and chakra and the first Jinchuriku, Ayane said. Naruto nodded at her explanation, but then realized something. Hey Ayane-chan, you said that you were going to give me a bloodline that was lost before the Rikudo Sennin, but the Rikudo Sennin was the founder of ninjutsu and chakra. How is that possible? Naruto asked. It's because this bloodline uses a different energy called Kai, Ayane said. What's Kai? Naruto asked. Kai is the physical energy that is more dense than chakra. Kai is also the physical side of chakra called Yang chakra, Ayane said. How is Kai more dense than chakra? Naruto asked. It's because when Kai collides with spiritual energy to make chakra, the spiritual energy mixes with it to make it less dense, Ayane explained. Naruto nodded. For the first time since the Sandaime Hokage gave him an apartment for him to live in, he gave Ayane his true smile. As Naruto smiled, he ran up to Ayane and hugged her. Ayane blushed because of the unexpected hug and first contact with a male human, smiled and hugged him back. Hey Ayane-chan, why did you attack Konoha? Naruto asked. While Ayane explains why she attacked Konoha, let's go see how the council meeting is going. To the council meeting in the room that is a floor below the Hokage's office, is huge room where meetings take place that concerns the village, where clan heads, seniors, and merchants meet. Right now is in use for their weekly council meeting. The Sandaime Hokage walks into the room and everyone stood up, bowed and sat back down. Let's start this meeting now, Hiruzen said as sat down in his seat. Almost immediately problems start arriving about Naruto. We should get rid of that demon, screeched the councilwoman. The councilwoman name is Sakuya Haruno, the head of the civilian side of the council. She has pink hair tied in a bun, green eyes. There is nothing else that sticks out on her, otherwise her small A-cup S that's pass is lumps on her chest. All people on the civilian side nodded, giving their own ideas of getting rid of the demon. Hiruzen watches the civilian side of the council cause a ruckus about Naruto. Before it could escalate any farther, he quickly shuts them up with a small dose of ki. Alright people, I've had about enough of this bullshit. I am not going to kill Naruto Uzumaki, Hiruzen yelled. Him alongside the shinobi side of the council nodded their heads to agree with the aged Hokage. All of the civilians that were in the room were appalled. They never had seen the Hokage this angry before. Sure, they seen him angry before during these weekly meetings, but not angry. It was like the nice and elderly Hokage was killed in front of them and it was replaced with an angry, kill you with a stare, cage that's bent on world domination. If you guess who this is, you will get a cyber cookie. Lord Hokage, one of the plump civilian councilmen said in fear. I am so ashamed of this village, said the old Hokage. Everybody stared at him wondering why, but the shinobi side already knows why the Hokage said what he said. Is this the village that Minato sacrificed his life for? Is this the village that Minato had so much faith in to protect it from harm? Is this the village that Minato had willingly sacrificed his own family to make sure that this village stayed on the map? Hiruzen said. The shinobi side widens their eyes in surprise. He is actually going to reveal Naruto's parentage to the council? Sume Inuzuka thought in surprise. While on the civilian side of the council was confused. The Ondaime Hokage wasn't married, so how did he have a family? Last time we checked, the Ondaime Hokage wasn't married, so how can he have a family? Sakuya Haruno said. Well, Minato married his wife in secrecy so no one would target her, Hiruzen said. Who is this secret wife of his? A councilman asked. Her name is Kushina Uzumaki, Hiruzen said, shocking them completely. The plump councilman rose to his feet with a face that shows recognition and fear. Isn't Kushina is? The plump councilman didn't finish what he was about to say because he was interrupted by an Enbu in the room. Hiruzen looked at the mask and found out it was Inu. Inu, isn't you supposed to protect Naruto? Hiruzen asked. Inu bowed. Hokage-sama, it's an emergency. Something happened to Naruto, Inu reported. Hiruzen rose up from his seat. This meeting is postponed till tomorrow, the old Hokage said as he disappeared with Inu. Back to the hospital with Naruto's mindscape after the explanation. So you're saying that after my mother was finished giving birth to me as my father was still fighting to hold you from escaping, someone came through the barrier, killed everyone in there and held me captive to get to my mother, who was the previous Jinchuriku of you. Managed to separate my father from her and ripped you out of her gut and controlled you using the Sharingan to destroy Konoha, and that's all you remember? Naruto said, summarizing the story that Ayane told him. Ayane nodded. I know that you don't believe me, but that's what happened. Up till that point I didn't remember what happened, Ayane said as she lowers her head in shame. Naruto walked towards her and lightly lifted her head to look into her blue eyes. I do believe you, Ayane, Naruto said, shocking Ayane. Ayane was surprised. Naruto actually believed her. She was happy and relieved for some reason. Tears slowly fall down from her eyes as she hugs Naruto, forcing his face into her massive chest. Naruto was surprised. He never been hugged before and found it quite intoxicating, but before he could actually enjoy the hug he was being suffocated. Naruto starts to flail his arms, trying to break the hug to breathe, which only causing her to tighten the hug. Feeling a little lightheaded because of the lack of oxygen, Naruto stops flailing his arms and try to alert her. Ayane, I can't breathe, you're smothering me, Naruto said. Ayane quickly realized that she is smothering Naruto in between her chest. She pulls him back, allowing Naruto to get some oxygen in him. Ayane chuckles while she rubs the back of her head in embarrassment. Sorry, Naruto-kun. Ayane apologized. Naruto nodded. Naruto stepped back and looked at her. Now that I think about, how are you going to give me this bloodline, Ayane-chan? Naruto asked. Ayane pulled out a vial of red-looking liquid. Naruto looked at the vial curiously. What is that, Ayane-chan? Naruto asked. It's the blood of the two most powerful fighters before the Rikudo Sennin ever existed. And you are going to drink it. But before you do drink it, you is going to have to rip the seal in half so I could properly mend their blood into your DNA, Ayane said. Naruto nodded his head. Naruto quickly walked towards the seal and ripped it in half, then walked towards Ayane and smiled. Ayane handed Naruto the vial. Naruto looked at the vial before pulling the cork out and began to drink the liquid inside it. After Naruto drank the liquid, Ayane began immediately, and before Naruto knew what was coming, he was in pain. Naruto screamed in pain. He could feel his muscles in his entire body being shredded. Then his bones starts to thicken and become dense. Then his muscles started to form again, and just like with his bones, they also became much thicker and more dense than before. As he thought that the pain was over, he felt something form from his lower backside just above his butt. It was a tail, not just any tail. It was a tail of a monkey. It was the sign of someone being a Saiyan. As Ayane was bonding the DNA strands of Vegeta and Goku, Ayane found something interesting and yet astounding. It seems like the Uzumaki clan had some Saiyan blood in them. So that's where they get their longevity and strange abilities from, Ayane thought to herself. She continued with the DNA mending and decided to make Naruto into a full Saiyan instead of a half Saiyan, so she had to work double time. About 5 minutes later she was finished. She took a deep breath and looked at her finished project. Ayane looked at Naruto and noticed a coup of changes. Naruto's hair that was once blonde is now blood red. Naruto's blue eyes also changed to black. His hair has gotten longer and spikier. He had gotten a lot taller as well. Instead of looking malnourished, he looked a bit muscular, especially in the chest department. As she looked down, a blush appeared on her cheeks. Just look at those leg muscles, they look like they were made by the gods. Oh my, it looks like he could break someone with that, Ayane thought as ate her lips unconsciously. Outside of Naruto's mindscape with Inu was in his invisibility cloak outside of the room of Naruto reading Icha Paradise when he felt a spike in chakra and a scream of pain. Inu took off his invisibility cloak, ran inside to see who was attacking his charge. When Inu barged into the room, what he saw was shocking. What Inu saw was Naruto's body was shaking erratically. The boy muscles were being buffed up like someone was pumping air into them. His hair went from blonde to blood red. He also had grown taller. He went from 4 feet 3 inches to 4 feet 8 inches. Inu also saw that Naruto had grown a tail. Inu had to blink multiple times to see it was his imagination, which was not. Hokage-sama is not going to believe this, Inu thought. Inu shunshined to the council meeting and interrupted the plump councilman from completing his sentence and getting the Hokage's attention. Inu, isn't you supposed to protect Naruto? Hiruzen asked. Inu bowed. Hokage-sama, it's an emergency. Something happened to Naruto, Inu reported. Hiruzen rose up from his seat. This meeting is postponed till tomorrow, the old Hokage said as he disappeared with Inu. Konoha General Hospital. When Inu and Hiruzen shunshined to the hospital, specifically Naruto's room, the elderly Hokage was surprised by Naruto's new look. The Hokage looked over at Inu and asked, "How did this happen, Inu?" Hiruzen asked. Inu shrugged his shoulders. "I don't know. There was a spike in chakra and a scream of pain. When I got in there was no one was in here, so I deduced what happened to Naruto was on the inside, preferably the Kyuubi," Inu said. Hiruzen widened his eyes in shock. The Kyuubi did this? He thought. He then narrowed his eyes in suspicion. "What is your game, Kyuubi? Why would you help out Naruto?" Hiruzen thought. Hiruzen then did some hand signs, then bit his thumb. Summoning jutsu. Hiruzen yelled out. A cloud of smoke appeared, obscuring the view for a couple of seconds before it disappeared, revealing a monkey. "Why did you call me Sarutobi?" the monkey asked. "I want you to locate Jiraiya and tell him to come to Konoha immediately. It's an emergency. It's about Naruto," Hiruzen said. The monkey nodded and disappeared in a poof of smoke. Somewhere in the Land of Fire, some village in the Land of Fire a couple of days from Konoha was where Jiraiya was located. Now you think that since Jiraiya, the self-proclaimed super pervert, was here to peek on the women in the local hot springs that they have here, well, you was wrong. Jiraiya had gotten some information from his spy network that one of Orochimaru's hidden labs was located here. Over at the entrance of the village, you could see that a white-haired man staring inside the village. The man wore olive green pants with a white shirt with a red sleeveless vest over top of the white shirt, and under the white shirt is a fishnet shirt that acts like an undershirt. As I said before, this man has white hair with gray eyes. He has a headband with the kanji for oil on his forehead. This man was the Toad Sennin, Jiraiya. As Jiraiya walked into the village, all he could do was frown. This place looks like it's been abandoned, Jiraiya thought. There was no one that was in this village. The houses are boarded up. Some of the houses were destroyed. The road was dusty. If it were a cartoon, you would have seen tumbleweed rolled by. Jiraiya turned to his left and saw a tumbleweed blow by. Jiraiya's sweat dropped at the tumbleweed. Jiraiya took a step forward and paused, and smelled the air and narrowed his eyes. The scent that he smelled was familiar. It was the scent of blood. Before Jiraiya could take a step further, there was a sound of a poof. Jiraiya looked down and found a monkey standing beside him. A monkey? What does Hiruzen-sensei want me? Jiraiya asked himself. Are you Jiraiya? The monkey asked. Jiraiya nodded. Yeah, that's me. What does Hiruzen-sensei want from me? Jiraiya asked the monkey. He wants you to come back to Konoha. It's an emergency, the monkey said. Tell him that I can't. I'm trying to locate Orochimaru's hidden lab that's located in this village, Jiraiya said. Then the monkey said something that made Jiraiya change his mind immediately. It's about Naruto, the monkey said. Jiraiya widened his eyes in surprise. Something happened to Naruto when he left Naruto in Hiruzen's care. Something extremely bad happened to Naruto for Hiruzen to message him about Naruto. Do you know what happened to him? Jiraiya asked the monkey. The monkey shook his head in negative. No, I don't. Sorry, the monkey said as he disappeared in a poof of smoke, done what his summoner had asked him to do. Jiraiya did some hand signs and bit his finger, then slammed his hand on the ground. Summoning jutsu. Jiraiya yelled as he slammed his palm on the ground. A large toad was summoned. It was red. It had a scar on the left side of his eye, wearing a blue shirt with a katana strapped on his right side of his body. Oh, did I mention that it had a pipe sticking out of his mouth? What do you want from me, Jiraiya? I was in the middle of drinking my sake, the large toad said in anger. Listen Gamabunta, I need to go to Konoha as soon as possible, said Jiraiya. The newly named Gamabunta took a puff of the burnt tobacco from his pipe and releases smoke from his mouth. He really didn't hate Jiraiya, but when he summoned his clan he usually make him aid in his research. Otherwise than that, Jiraiya is a good friend with the toads. Alright, I'll take you to Konoha this one time, but if you summon one of my kin for yours perverted desires, I'll beat you to a bloody pulp. Got it? Gamabunta threatened. Jiraiya nodded. Well, he expected that warning sooner than later. Okay, I'll never summon them for that ever again, Jiraiya said. And with that Gamabunta started to hop to Konoha, which would take up to 90 minutes tops to reach Konoha. Inside Naruto's mindscape, Naruto opened his to find that he was still inside his mindscape. Naruto had momentarily passed out due to the pain. He winces in pain that's still lingering in his body from the whole DNA mending process. Feeling a hand rubbing the top of his head, he looks up to find Ayane rubbing his hair. Naruto blushes when he realizes that she is. Ayane-chan, why don't you have any clothes on? Naruto asked. Ayane chuckled. What do you mean, Naruto-kun? I'm always, Ayane said. Naruto blushes in embarrassment. He didn't notice until now that Ayane wasn't wearing any clothes. Ayane-chan, can you please put some clothes on? Naruto asked. Ayane pouted. Why, Naruto-kun? You don't like what you see? Ayane teased. Naruto blush returns. He nods his head in approval. You have a nice body and all, but it's just that I don't want to see you all the time, Naruto said. Ayane nodded her head and used her Yuki to change into an orangish red form-fitting kimono that shows off all of her curves with a blue sash to keep it tied together. I would like to talk longer, but you is starting to wake up, so we'll talk later. Bye, Naruto-kun, Ayane said. Outside of Naruto's mindscape, Naruto woke up with a smile on his face. It wasn't a fake smile like he has on most of the time. It was a real smile. He just found out why he was hated by the villagers. But that's not why he was smiling. He was smiling because he had made a new friend. He didn't care that his first friend was Kyuubi herself. He was just happy that he had a friend. But before he could go deeper in thought, the door opening revealing his grandfather figure Hiruzen Sarutobi interrupted him. Hey Gigi, Naruto said smiling. The old man smiled back at Naruto. Hey Naruto-kun. How are you feeling? Hiruzen asked. I'm feeling fine, Gigi, Naruto said. Hiruzen smiled. It seems like the Kyuubi didn't try and take over Naruto. Now the question is, why would the Kyuubi help out its container like this, and what does it get in return? This is the main reason why he called for Jiraiya to check the seal, to see if it was damaged. Naruto sits up from the hospital bed. Naruto is still feeling pain in his muscles, but not like it was in his mindscape. After a while from sitting up, Naruto decided that he will try and stand up, but a hand stops him. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun, but I'm going to need you to stay in the bed for a while, Hiruzen said. Naruto pouted. But why, Gigi? Naruto asked. Hiruzen knows that he has to tell him why, but he doesn't know what to say to him without upsetting him. Hiruzen does know that he will have to tell him about the Kyuubi being sealed inside him. I have no choice but to tell him about the Kyuubi being sealed inside him, Hiruzen thought with a sigh. Listen, Naruto-kun. There's something I want to tell you, Hiruzen said. What is it, Gigi? Naruto asked. Hiruzen sighed. He doesn't know how Naruto will react to what he has to say. Well, it's now or never. I'm going to have to tell about Kyuubi, Hiruzen thought. 6 years ago on October 10th, the Kyuubi attacked Konoha. It was a surprise attack. Before Hiruzen could continue, Naruto interrupted him. Actually, Gigi, the Kyuubi was under a genjutsu, Naruto said. Hiruzen looked at Naruto in uncertainty. How you know that, Naruto? Hiruzen asked. It's simple. Kyuubi told me about it, Naruto said. Hiruzen widened his eyes in surprise. The Kyuubi was under a genjutsu. That was why the Kyuubi appeared suddenly. But the question is, who is strong enough to put the Kyuubi in a genjutsu? Hiruzen thought. As Hiruzen was deep in thought, he found out that there's more than meets the eye with the Kyuubi, and then he came to a shocking revelation. Naruto knows about the Kyuubi. Hiruzen knows that Naruto don't particularly like the civilians of Konoha because of how they treat him because of the Kyuubi being sealed inside him. He just doesn't know that he should be angry at himself or at the villagers' ignorance. But before he could go deeper in thought, an Anbu member interrupted him. Hokage-sama, Jiraiya has been spotted near the northwest gate entrance, the Anbu member said. Thank you, Shark. When he arrives, escort him here, please, the elderly Hokage said. It shall be done, Hokage-sama, Shark said as he shunshined to meet Jiraiya when he comes inside the village. Naruto was curious, like he should know this Jiraiya. When he was in Gigi's office looking around his desk, of course when the old man wasn't in his office, he would always find an orange book stashed in a secret compartment. When he first saw the book he tried to read it, but since nobody in the orphanage taught him how to read, he just looked at the illustrations in the book until he taught himself how to read. When Gigi taught him to read, the first book he read was Icha Icha Paradise, which took some begging to the old man to finally give him a book after telling Naruto about the bees and the knees talk. Feeling like he should know this person, Naruto asked the elderly Hokage a question. Hey Gigi, who is this Jiraiya person? Naruto asked. Hiruzen chuckled. Well, Naruto-kun, Jiraiya is the author of those books that you liked, Hiruzen said. Inu widened his eyes in surprise. Naruto is a fan of Icha Icha? Inu thought. Inu smiled, but it unnoticeable because of the mask. Naruto was shocked. This Jiraiya was the author of his favorite book series. Naruto's eyes turned into stars. Faster than Hiruzen could see, Naruto got in front of Hiruzen's face. Kami-sama, what have I created? Hiruzen thought as Naruto was in his face with stars in his eyes. Where is he? Where is he? Naruto asked. Hiruzen chuckled. He should be here in a few minutes, Naruto, Hiruzen said. Now that we have that settled, let's check out where's our perverted Sannin is at. With Jiraiya and Gamabunta are hopping towards Konoha when Jiraiya suddenly sneezes, causing him to nearly fall off Gamabunta. This has to the author's fault. I'm too awesome to fall off of Gamabunta like this, Jiraiya had thought. Don't blame me that you nearly fell off of Gamabunta, the author replied. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow and looked around thinking that someone was talking to him. Before he could go any further into that thought, he saw the walls of Konoha ahead him. Gamabunta released a puff of smoke from his lips. Well, we're here, and don't forget about our deal, Jiraiya, Gamabunta said before returning to his world. As Jiraiya walked towards the gate, an Anbu member appeared in front of the gate. Jiraiya-sama, Hokage asked for me to escort you to where he is, the Anbu member said. Jiraiya nods. Then lead the way, Shark, Jiraiya said. Shark nodded and begins to lead Jiraiya to the hospital. He's leading me to the hospital. What could possibly happen to Naruto that he is in the hospital? Jiraiya thought to himself. Shark lead Jiraiya to the hospital. They went inside and climbed the stairs, the third floor, into room number 385. When Jiraiya opened the door, he found his sensei and Inu in the room with some red-haired kid clinging on his sensei. Hey Hiruzen sensei, why did you call me here? I had gotten a lead about a secret base belonging to Orochimaru. And who is this red-haired brat? Jiraiya questioned. Naruto, feeling offended of being called a brat, pouted. Hiruzen, seeing Naruto pout, chuckled. Gigi, that old man called me a brat. Can I teach him a lesson? Naruto asked. Hiruzen, knowing Naruto's notorious pranks, quickly looked at Jiraiya with pity. I feel almost sorry for you, Jiraiya, Hiruzen thought. I don't know Naruto-kun. He is someone important in your life, Hiruzen said. Jiraiya was shocked. This red-haired boy was Naruto? Last time he saw him was a couple of weeks ago, and he was short, had no muscles at all, malnutrition due to rarely eating healthy meals, and the most important of all, he looked like his father with blonde hair and blue eyes. Now Naruto looked nothing like that. In fact, his new look made him look like Kushina more than ever. Kami bless her soul when she wakes from her coma, Jiraiya thought to himself. Somewhere in Uzushiogakure, in a land that Uzushiogakure was destroyed, was buildings in ruins. Some were completely destroyed while most were still standing, just barely though. If you took a look around the destroyed village, you'll see nothing but destruction. But if you took a closer look, you will see some buildings that look they were just built a couple of years ago. It seems like Uzu is being rebuilt. But right now we are not here to discover that Uzu is being restored. In one of the buildings that were built was a hospital. In that hospital there is total of 4 people in one of the hospital rooms. 3 people were standing on top of the one that is lying on the bed. The first one is 6 years of age. It's a girl. She has long red hair that stops at her mid-back, and purple eyes. Her face is round just like how her mother's used to be when she was a kid. She stands about 4 feet 7 inches. She's wearing a white t-shirt with a red Uzumaki swirl on the middle of the shirt with black cargo shorts. Her name is Narumi Uzumaki. She is Naruto's twin sister. The second one has long blonde hair that is wrapped into 2 pigtails and light brown eyes. She is 5 feet 3 inches. Her face is muscular but also feminine that gives her a Y look that make males drool and females foam with envy. And if that doesn't work, then her huge E-cup S and her young look will guarantee to finish them off. But despite her young looks, she's at the old age of 44. She is wearing a white sleeveless shirt that showed a lot of cleavage with olive green pants and black high-heeled ninja sandals. Her name is Tsunade Senju, the great-granddaughter of Hashirama Senju, the Shodame Hokage, and the grandniece of Tobarama Senju, the Nidame Hokage. The last person was also female. She has short black hair that stops to her lower neck and has black eyes. She is 5 feet 6 inches. Her face is feminine, which gives her a beautiful look top that with her mid-C cup S. With a young age of 21, she could date any male she is interested in. Too bad she's not interested in anyone yet. She is wearing a black kimono with a fishnet shirt and a gray sash to keep the kimono in place. She also has on black high-heeled ninja sandals on. Her name is Shizune Kato, the apprentice of Tsunade Senju, and the niece of Dan Kato, Tsunade's ex-lover. They all were standing around a person. This person is a female. She has long red hair that stops around her lower back and has purple eyes. But you can't see them because they are closed. Her face is round but not like it was when she was a kid. In fact, her round face add to the things that made her beautiful and downright why. Add to the fact that her DD cup as she looks like a goddess. She is currently wearing a hospital gown. Her height is 5 feet 9 inches. If you don't know her name by now, then you should be ashamed of yourselves. Her name is Kushina Uzumaki, wife of Minato Namikaze, and mother of Narumi and Naruto Uzumaki. As the 2 ladies and 1 girl stand near Kushina Uzumaki, Narumi decided that she was going to be the one to break the silence. "Hey Ba-chan, when is Ka-chan is going to wake up?" Narumi asked. Tsunade eye twitches and a vein appeared on top of her left eyebrow. She doesn't like it when Narumi calls her Ba-chan, and Narumi knows this. She wished that she could finger F Narumi, but she can't in risk of causing harm to her. She could see that smile full of innocence yet evil. She couldn't wait till Kushina woke up so she could hand over Narumi to her. "Kushina should wake up any minute," Tsunade said. "But Ba-chan, you said that she would wake up today," Narumi whined. If it was possible, Tsunade eye twitch even harder. "Yeah, I did say that. But you need to be patient, Narumi," Tsunade said, trying not to finger F Narumi for her Ba-chan comment. Before they could continue with their bickering, a moan interrupted the group of people. The 2 ladies and 1 girl looked at Kushina as she opened her eyes and sit up. "Where am I?" Kushina said. On April 1st, Kushina Uzumaki, mother of Naruto and Narumi Uzumaki, woke up from her 6-year coma. "In Uzushiobikure, where am I?" asked Kushina as she wakes up from her 6-year coma. Kushina opens her eyes fully only to close them cause of the lighting in the room. She tries to sit up but she felt something crash into her. "Ka-san!" yelled Narumi as tears of happiness slide down her cheeks. Kushina looked down at Narumi shocked. Last time she saw her when she was a newborn baby after her son was born and before. "Where's Naruto-kun?" Kushina asked, desperately searching for her son. Tsunade stopped her before Kushina could do any more damage to her body. "Naruto's back in the Leaf Village. Hiruzen-sensei is taking care of him," Tsunade said. Kushina smiled. Her son is safe. Then Kushina's smile dropped. "By the way," Tsunade said that sentence, "it seems that she's not in the village right now." "Hey Tsunade, where are we located?" Kushina asked. Tsunade sighed. She knew what she has to do, and knowing Kushina, she would just barge in and kill Danzo for what he was about to do to her and Narumi. Tsunade took a deep breath, thinking about how she is going to say this without angering her. "You are located in Uzushio," Tsunade said. Kushina widened her eyes in surprise. She's in her homeland that was destroyed at the beginning of the Second Great Ninja War. "Uzushio is rebuilt," Kushina asked, hoping that her homeland is rebuilt. Tsunade shook her head. No, Uzushio is far from being rebuilt. Hiruzen-sensei was slowly trying to rebuild it after the Third Great Ninja War but had to put it to a halt because of the Kyuubi attack, she said. Kushina smiled. That old goat was planning to rebuild Uzu without her knowing. She is going to have to thank him when she goes back to the Leaf Village to live with her son. But why am I in Uzu instead of being in Konoha? Kushina asked. Tsunade started to explain why she and Narumi are in Uzu instead of Konoha. What I'm about to say to you will make you angry, and you must promise me that you will not yell until I finish with the story, all right? Tsunade said. Kushina, noticing that she is serious, nodded. All right. After the Kyuubi was sealed into Naruto, you was put into a coma. With Narumi and Naruto, or without a mother, there were some problems. The civilian council wanted to execute them, thinking that Naruto and Narumi are demons. While Danzo wanted them to be trained as weapons, Danzo's idea was shot down immediately. After the meeting, Danzo was upset. Naruto couldn't be touched because of the Shinobi Council protecting him, and Narumi was useless without Naruto. After a few months, Danzo tried to sell you and Narumi to Kumo for a couple of A-rank and S-rank jutsus. He almost had gotten away with it if it wasn't for Jiraiya's spy network catching wind of it. So he took you and Narumi away from Konoha and Danzo's eye and carried you and Narumi here. Then he messaged me about what happened and asked me to take care of you and Narumi. Tsunade said, finishing the story. Most of you were happy that there was no flashback. I made it like that because I wanted to tell you a short story of what happened in this chapter and decided to use the flashback moment later in the story. To say that Kushina wasn't furious was saying that Madara Uchiha was the Shodem Hokage. She was so angry that her hair started to rise and turn gold for a brief second before returning to its red color. Did Kushina's hair turn yellow? Tsunade thought to herself. When I get my hands on Danzo, he's going to wish that I had never woken up, Kushina said angrily. Well, first you need to retrain your body because you've been asleep for 6 years. Until then you won't be able to do that, Tsunade said. Kushina nodded. She wants to get started right now so she could see how her son is doing in Konoha. So how long will retraining my body is going to be? Kushina asked. Tsunade thought about it for a while before answering. To get back to the way you were before is going to take a year or two. But it will take you about 2 to 3 months to get your body in traveling condition, Tsunade said. Kushina nodded. She already knows the answer to her question, but she needed to hear it from Tsunade herself. After a few seconds of silence, Kushina's stomach decided to finally get noticed by growling. Kushina blushed. Feeling embarrassed that she was hungry and didn't eat for 6 years, she rubbed her hand behind her head and chuckled sheepishly. Tsunade sighed. Kushina wasn't the only one that was hungry. All right. Let's get you something to eat and I'll notify Sensei that you had awakened from your coma, Tsunade said. Kushina nodded. To Naruto, Jiraiya, and Hiruzen. Naruto lay on the hospital bed as Jiraiya checked the seal. After a few minutes, Jiraiya finished inside. The seal is a little loose, but it still holds, Jiraiya said. Hiruzen nodded. Well, Naruto-kun, it seems like you can leave now, Hiruzen said. Naruto smiled and nodded. See y'all later, Gigi, Naruto said as he runs out of the room. As soon as Naruto runs out of the room, Jiraiya frowns. What's wrong, Jiraiya? Hiruzen asked. There's something wrong with the seal and I can't seem to put my hand on it, Jiraiya said. What do you mean, Jiraiya? Hiruzen asked, concerned. When I first saw the seal that Minato made, it was amazing and secure. But when I see it now, it's like it was in a rush and half-assed, Jiraiya said. Hiruzen knew he wasn't a Fuinjutsu master, but when he saw the seal, it looked like the same seal he saw when he sealed the Kyuubi into Naruto. I don't know what you mean, Jiraiya, Hiruzen said. Jiraiya sighed. Just forget about it, Jiraiya said. So how's Kushina? Hiruzen asked. Tsunade said that she should wake you any day now, Jiraiya said. Hiruzen nodded. That's good. Tomorrow I will tell him about his mother and his little sister, Hiruzen said. Jiraiya nodded. What about his father? Jiraiya asked. I'll leave that to you, Hiruzen said. Jiraiya nodded. Also, in about 2 weeks I'll be taking Naruto to train him and hopefully see his mother and sister, Jiraiya said. Why do you want to train Naruto so early? Hiruzen asked. From one of my contacts from my spy network says that there's a group of mercenaries that's out there that's full of S-class missing nin calling themselves Akatsuki. Jiraiya said. Do you know what they're after? Hiruzen asked. My contact don't know what they're after, but it has to do something about the 9 Biju. Jiraiya said. The 9 Biju? I know that can't be good, Hiruzen said. Jiraiya nodded. That's why I'm taking Naruto and we'll be gone for about 7 to 8 years, Jiraiya said. Hiruzen nodded. You're making Naruto your apprentice? Hiruzen asked. Jiraiya nodded. Yeah, I'm planning on it, Jiraiya said. Hiruzen nodded. Well, I'm going back to my office. I need to find the way to destroy paperwork so it won't take me down like the Sandame Raikage. Kami bless his soul, Hiruzen said. Jiraiya chuckled in his head. He knows a way to defeat paperwork, Kage Bunshin. Hell, he told his secret to his student Minato for the right price. Well, I'm off to see what Orochimaru have in this lab I was going to check out before this happened, Jiraiya said. Hiruzen nodded and watched his student disappear in a shunshin before he did himself. To Naruto made it to his apartment entrance only to frown. It seems like it was broken in for the 10th time this year. This is the 10th time that they broke into my apartment. It's not like I have anything important in here, it just angers me that they do this to me, Naruto thought. Cheer up Naruto-kun, cause starting tomorrow I will train you on how to use Kai, Ayane said. Ayane-chan, Naruto said. Ah, Naruto-kun forgotten about me already, Ayane said. I didn't forget about you. I was just surprised that you could talk to me, Naruto said. Well, Naruto-kun, since you ripped the seal in half, I am able to talk to you in your head, Ayane said. Naruto walked in his apartment and closed the door behind him. He then walked towards his bedroom and went towards the bed. Once he reached the bed he flopped on it and immediately closes his eyes and fell asleep. Who knew that having your DNA rearranged would make you tired? The next day it was about 10 a.m. when Naruto woke up. He got up from his bed and stretched. After Naruto finished his morning essentials, he went to his kitchen to look for something to eat. After finding some of his instant ramen cups, he filled some water for the ramen. After waiting several minutes for the water to boil, he poured the hot water in the ramen cups. After waiting another few minutes for the ramen to cook, he finally dug in. After eating his 4th ramen cup, there was a knock on the door. Naruto walked over to the door and cracked it open a little so he could peek to see who was at the door. His paranoia coming out due to what happened 2 nights ago. To his surprise, he saw one of his Anbu protectors, Neiko, in front of the door. Neiko-ne-chan, what are you doing here? Naruto asked. Neiko is shocked to see Naruto's change. She heard of Naruto's change from Inu, but it's still surprising to see it with your own eyes. I came here to escort you to Hokage-sama, Neiko said. Naruto nodded. Neiko then grabbed Naruto's shoulder and Sunshine to the Hokage's office. The Hokage's office Sarutobi was preparing to reveal Naruto parentage, something that he should have done a long time ago when Neiko appeared in his office with Naruto. Thank you, Neiko. Can you give us some privacy? Sarutobi asked. Neiko nodded and disappeared along with the rest of the Anbu that was in there. So Gigi, what do you want from me? Naruto asked. Naruto-kun, what I'm about to tell you might make you hate me, but I had to hide it from you, Hiruzen said. Naruto tilted his head in confusion. What is so important that might make me hate him? Naruto asked himself. Ayane shrugged her shoulders at the question, but she has an idea of what it would be and prepared herself to comfort Naruto if it was what she thought it was. Hiruzen sighed. He knows that what he is about to tell Naruto might change their relationship. Naruto, you know that the Kyuubi was controlled to attack Konoha, but what you don't know is the Kyuubi was sealed into 2 other people before you. Hiruzen said, pausing so that if Naruto have any questions he would answer them. Naruto already knows this from the story from Ayane, so he doesn't have any questions to ask. Seeing Naruto's face, Hiruzen continued with his story. The first person is Mito Uzumaki, the wife of the Shoden Hokage. She sealed it within herself when Madara Uchiha used the Kyuubi to attack Hashirama Senju in the Valley of the End. When she gotten too old and was about to die, we had a young Uzumaki from Uzu to be escorted to Konoha to transfer the Kyuubi from Mito to her. Her name is Kushina Uzumaki, your mother. Hiruzen said, pausing so that Naruto can take it all in. Again, Naruto wasn't surprised because he heard this story from Ayane. When Hiruzen saw how Naruto's face remains unchanged, he was surprised. He probably heard all of this from the Kyuubi. How much does he know? I'll ask him after I finish telling him the rest of the story, Hiruzen thought. Resuming to where Kushina is pregnant, he starts the story again. When your mother heard that she was pregnant, she was so happy, especially when she heard that she was giving birth to twins. Hiruzen said, stopping to know that if Naruto known about that. Naruto's eyes widened in shock. Ayane didn't tell him about this. Ayane, why didn't you tell me that I had a possible sibling? Naruto thought. Because I don't know what happened to her after I was ripped out of Kushina's body. I don't know if I killed her or that it could have been a miscarriage because when I was ripped out, she was still inside. And I didn't want to make you more sadder than before. Ayane explained. Naruto was depressed when he heard that his little sister died with his mother and father that day, but that quickly turned into anger. That bastard. He will pay for what he had done to my parents and my little sister that didn't even breathe a breath of life. I will make sure that he die the most cruelest way ever, Naruto thought angrily. In Naruto's anger, he didn't know that his physical energy or otherwise Kai had been unlocked and it was coming out in spades. Hiruzen was surprised when an unfamiliar power started coming out of Naruto. The power was all over the place. Papers were blown off the desk. Hiruzen mentally smiled at that. Windows shattered. Things that are not attached to anything is blown out of the window. Chairs are being blown away, some of them broke apart. In Naruto's head, Ayane was trying to calm Naruto down. Having no success after 5 minutes, Ayane finally loses her patience and yells at him. Naruto. Calm down. Ayane yelled at Naruto. It seems like that made Naruto calm down enough that his energy had stopped coming out of his body, but it was already too late. The damage to the office was done. Naruto blushed in embarrassment and chuckled. Ops. My bad, Gigi, sorry about your office, Naruto said while rubbing the back of his head in embarrassment. Hiruzen chuckled a little as well. Don't worry about it, Naruto-kun. My office needed a makeover anyway. What was that power that you used to destroy my office? Hiruzen asked in curiosity. Naruto didn't want to tell him about Kai yet. He wanted to distract him from telling him about it yet. I'll tell you about it after you finish with the story, Gigi, Naruto said, hoping that he will forget about asking him that question again. All right then, Hiruzen said, continuing from where he left off. Kushina was just about give birth to you, but before she could do that she had to move away from the village because she was the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. The Yondaime Hokage Minato Namikaze, aka your father, went with her to keep Kyuubi from breaking out of the seal while giving birth. Somehow after giving birth to you, the Kyuubi broke free of the seal. You know what happened more than I know about that, Hiruzen said, taking a puff of smoke from his pipe that he somehow saved from being blown away with the rest of the loose items. Continuing the story from after the Kyuubi attack. After the Kyuubi had been sealed inside you, your father died from the after effects from the jutsu that he used. We expected the worst from your mother because when Jinchuriki has their biju removed from them, they die. We were surprised that we found Kushina and your little sister Narumi was found alive, Hiruzen said, surprising both Naruto and Ayane. Did you know about this, Ayane? Naruto asked Ayane. No, I didn't. I'm just as surprised as you on this, Naruto-kun, Ayane said. Not knowing that Naruto is having a conversation with Ayane, Hiruzen thought that Naruto was depressed that Kushina took his little sister and abandoned him, quickly tried to cheer him up. Kushina and your little sister didn't abandon you. Kushina is in a coma since the Kyuubi attack and Narumi is being raised by one of my students who is also taking care of Kushina until she wakes from her coma, Hiruzen said. Naruto was happy. His mother and his little sister was alive and didn't leave him. Although he was sad that his mother was in a coma for 6 years and he didn't see his little sister around the village. Don't worry, Naruto-kun. You will get to see them one day, Ayane said, trying to cheer Naruto up. Naruto smiled. Thanks, Ayane-chan, Naruto said to Ayane. Hiruzen, seeing Naruto's sad face, decided to tell him what Jiraiya told him. I have good news for you, Naruto. In 2 weeks, Jiraiya is going to be training you to be a shinobi outside the village, and while you're outside the village, Jiraiya will take you to see your mother and your little sister Narumi before he trains you, Hiruzen said. As soon as Naruto heard that the author of his favorite book series is training him and also taking him to see his long-lost family, he smiled. The smile was so big that it rivals guys when he does his nice guy pose. It was only missing the sparkle to complete it. Hiruzen was a little unnerved about that, but he decided to ignore it for now and ask something that was on his mind since it happened. Now that's the story is over. What was that energy that was coming out of you? Hiruzen asked. Damn. I was hoping he would have forgotten about that, Naruto thought. Now what was that power, Naruto-kun? Hiruzen asked. Damn. I was hoping he would forget about that, Naruto thought. While Naruto was having a mental discussion about telling him or not, Hiruzen's patience was wearing thin. He was about to ask him the question again when Naruto answered. It was a power before the Rikudo Sennin discovered chakra. Like chakra, everyone could use this energy. This energy is called Kai. As we all know, chakra has two sources, spiritual energy and physical energy. Kai is the physical side of chakra. Naruto said, explaining this to Hiruzen. Hiruzen is shocked. He didn't know that there was a power source that humans could use before chakra. Naruto waited for the old man to get over his shock to continue his story. Kai and chakra gives you different abilities and are the life source for living beings. Be either human or animal, and if you don't have either you will die. Naruto explained. Now I don't know everything about what Kai does, but I do know this. Kai is stronger than chakra, Naruto said. Hiruzen was a little skeptical about that Kai is stronger than chakra, and Naruto could see that he doesn't believe that Kai is stronger than chakra. You may not believe me, but as I said before, I don't know everything about what Kai does. Kai has many abilities that I don't know of yet, but I know Kai is stronger than chakra, Naruto said. Hiruzen nodded, knowing that once we know everything about what Kai does, it could be stronger than chakra. Hiruzen then remembered something about what Naruto said earlier about Kai. You said that everyone could use it. What did you mean by that? Hiruzen asked. What I meant by that is everyone that was born before the Rikudo Sennin had the possibility to use Kai, Naruto said. Possibility? Hiruzen asked. Not everyone knew that they possessed Kai, and the ones that knew they did either kept it to themselves or used that energy to either wreak havoc or defend their families, Naruto said. Hiruzen nodded at the explanation. He had a couple of questions that he wanted to ask Naruto. I have a couple of questions for you. Do you mind answering them? Hiruzen asked. Naruto nodded. Sure, go ahead, Gigi. Naruto said. Alright, question 1. Can Kai be used by anyone of today's era? Hiruzen asked. I don't know, let me ask Ayane-chan for a quick second, Naruto said. Ayane-chan? Hiruzen said quizzically. The Kyuubi, Naruto said. Hiruzen was a little shocked that Naruto could have a conversation with the Kyuubi, but quickly squashed it by remembering what Naruto had told him about the Kyuubi in the hospital. Naruto-kun, you should be careful about talking with the Kyuubi. She may have been innocent in the attack, but she is still a demon, and we don't know what she may be after. Hiruzen said. He knew that what he was saying was complete bullshit, but there's no such thing as being too careful. Naruto waved off his warning, knowing that he was just concerned about him. Don't worry about me, Gigi. Naruto said. Hey Ayane-chan, can Kai be used by people of today's era? Naruto asked. Yes, they can. But it will be very difficult to teach them how to manipulate Kai because they're used to using chakra. The people who will most likely be able to manipulate Kai are taijutsu masters, kenjutsu masters, or civilians. Others uses chakra too much to switch from chakra to Kai, Ayane said. Naruto mentally nodded to Ayane to show his appreciation for the information. Ayane said that it could be taught to people, but it will be difficult to use because people are used to using chakra. Only taijutsu masters, kenjutsu masters, and civilians are most likely be able to manipulate Kai because other specialists uses too much chakra to switch from chakra to Kai, Naruto said. Hiruzen nodded. He was rather surprised that people could use Kai in this time of era. Question 2. This energy that you just used has to do with your sudden transformation? Hiruzen asked. Naruto nodded, knowing that he will have to explain about the Saiyajin bloodline that Ayane gave him. It was a bloodline that was created before the Rikudo Sennin was born. In fact, it was the very first bloodline that the humans possessed, Naruto said. Hiruzen was shocked. There was a bloodline that came before the Rikudo Sennin's birth. The bloodline origins came from an alien race called Saiyajins. The Saiyajins are a clan of warriors that goes from planet to planet eradicating all life on that planet to either sell it to other suitors looking for a planet to sell down on or destroy it, Naruto said. Hiruzen was surprised to find out that the bloodline originated from an alien race and a little put off about the way they lived their lives. It reminded him of how bandits act. In fact, the Saiyajins was the strongest race out of their Milky Way galaxy. That was until they met a space pirate called Frieza, came and soundly defeated their leader. Out of fear of having his men killed, the leader of the Saiyajins pleaded that he spare him and his race, and if he does they will serve him, Naruto said. How do you know this much information about the Saiyajins? Ayane asked. I don't know. The information just jumped into my head. I don't even know what I had just said, Naruto said. I can explain about that, an unknown voice said. Who's there? Show yourself, Naruto said. Humph. How can I show myself when you is not even in your mindscape? The unknown voice said. You could tell that by the way that he speaks that he is bathed in arrogance. Naruto's sweat dropped. Knowing that this unknown person was right, he decided that he would confront him after he finished speaking with the old man. Naruto-kun. Hiruzen called out. Huh? Naruto said as he comes out of his thoughts. I said what happened next? Hiruzen asked. Naruto stuttered. Useless. Just repeat what I say. The unknown voice said as he about what happened next. Frieza accepted his plea and from then they began to become henchmen for Frieza's army. Throughout the years that the Saiyajins served under Frieza's army they had conquered or destroyed planets, eliminated alien species, and even conquered planets that Frieza's main army couldn't even touch, Naruto said. So this Frieza guy had the Saiyajins to conquer different planets including Earth? Hiruzen asked. No, Frieza didn't even know that the planet Earth existed, Naruto said. Then why did the Saiyajins come to Earth for? Hiruzen asked. It was because the Saiyajins had created a rule that if a baby does not have a high power level the baby will be shipped off to a different planet to conquer it when he gets older, Naruto said. How can they be so ruthless? To send a newborn baby to a planet because they are weak? Hiruzen said, shocked and angered. Well, it is because of that the Saiyajins infiltrated Earth and became Earth's greatest saviors, Naruto said. I thought that you said the Saiyajins were space pirates. Why would they defend Earth? Hiruzen asked. It was because Frieza killed most of the Saiyajins, Naruto said. Why would Frieza do that? Hiruzen asked. Because when Frieza heard about the accomplishments about the Saiyajins did from his elite forces, he became afraid that the Saiyajins were planning to betray him, so he did the best thing that came to his mind, Naruto said. And what was that? Hiruzen asked almost fearfully. Frieza destroyed their planet killing almost all of the Saiyajins, Naruto said. Hiruzen was angry at how this monster called Frieza had decided to destroy a whole race of Saiyajins because he was afraid they would become too powerful. Naruto and Ayane were also angry at this Frieza person at how ruthless he was. Even we demons don't do that to our followers, Ayane yelled in anger. Ayane-chan, calm down, your yelling is causing me a headache, Naruto said. Sorry Naruto-kun, Ayane said. Don't worry about it Ayane-chan, Naruto said. Naruto-kun, is you alright? The old Hokage asked. Yeah Gigi. I was just talking to Ayane-chan, Naruto said. Hiruzen sighed. He hated doing this but he needs to. For the sake of Konoha he has to do this. Naruto-kun, I'm sorry to have to do this but I'm going to have to put you in the CCP, Hiruzen said. CCP? Naruto asked. It means Clan Creation Program. The CCP is for a person who awakens a new bloodline never seen before, Hiruzen said. What's so wrong about that? Naruto asked. You will have to marry multiple women to get the clan started, Hiruzen said. Naruto just stood there speechless. At a young age he knows that men have problems keeping one woman in their life, but he has to have multiple wives to get his clan started. There was only one action that his brain had told the body to do. What? Naruto yelled. Hiruzen chuckled at Naruto's expression of being told that he has to have multiple wives to start a clan. Well, you should be honored that you could marry multiple women. It is your duty as the Saiyajin king to repopulate your race, the mysterious person said. Again, who are you? Naruto asked the mysterious voice. The mysterious person grunted in annoyance. When you come inside your mindscape I will tell my name, the mysterious person said. Naruto sighed inwardly, already preparing for another headache. How many women do I have to marry? Naruto asked. Hiruzen sighed. He knows that Naruto will probably blow his eardrums because of how many he has to marry. You got to have at least 10 wives, Hiruzen said. There was an uncomfortable silence that washed over the Hokage's office. I was so silent that you could hear a needle fall on the floor and create an echo throughout the office. Then all of a sudden, there was a thud sound like something had hit the floor. That something had hit the floor was Naruto passing because of the sheer number of women that he has to marry. Hiruzen's sweat dropped when Naruto collapsed and looked over to his paperwork, and when he did, his eyes widened in shock. It seems like when during his 10-minute talk with Naruto his paperwork tripled, almost quadrupled in size. Hiruzen cried a fountain of tears in agony because no matter how many times he tried to shorten the stack, it just kept getting bigger and bigger. Minato, I don't know how you managed to defeat paperwork, but I will find out your secret, thought Hiruzen. After a couple of minutes Naruto decided to wake up. Hey Gigi, I think I had a nightmare, Naruto said. Hiruzen chuckled. Already knowing where this is going. Oh, what it's about? Questioned Hiruzen. It was about you putting me on the CCP and I have to marry 10 women, Naruto said. Well Naruto-kun, that was no dream. That was for real, Hiruzen said. What? Naruto yelled. Hiruzen covered his ears in pain and he was sure that the Anbu that was in the room was doing the same. After about a few seconds Hiruzen could really focus on Naruto after the Kyuubi gave him the bloodline. Long and spiky bright red hair, black eyes, bit of a muscular appearance, tall for someone his age, and a bright red tail sticking out of his lower back. Sigh, it looks like I have got buy him new clothes, and while I'm at it I might as well buy him some ninja weapons as well, thought Hiruzen. Come on Naruto-kun. Let's buy you some new clothes, Hiruzen said. Naruto smiled. Thanks Gigi, Naruto said as he ran up to Hiruzen and hugged him. Hiruzen smiled. You're welcome Naruto-kun. Now let's go, Hiruzen said as he held out his hand for Naruto. Naruto placed his hand on Hiruzen's and disappeared in a shunshin. Naruto and Hiruzen appeared in front of a shop that sells clothes and also ninja weapons. The store is called Higarashi's Clothes and Ninja Accessories. The outside of the store is small, but when you go inside the store is huge. It has all kinds of weapons hung up on the walls around the store. Naruto looked at all of the weapons that was hanging on the walls and smiled. Wow Gigi. Look at all of the weapons that's on the walls. Can I get one please Gigi? Naruto asked as he activated the dreaded puppy dog eyes jutsu. Hiruzen chuckled and nodded, signifying to Naruto that he will get a weapon of his choosing. I'll let you choose the weapon after we get you some clothes, alright, Hiruzen said. Naruto nodded and smiled. Okay Gigi, Naruto said. Hiruzen and Naruto walked up to the clerk to see a little girl standing there. The girl has brown hair that is tied up into buns, brown eyes and an angular face. She is wearing a light pink Chinese dress with blue shinobi sandals. Hiruzen walked up to her and smiled. Hello young one, can I talk to the
owner please? Hiruzen asked. The girl looked up and smiled. Okay Hokage-sama, the little girl said. The little girl looked at Naruto and waved at him. Why does Hokage-sama want with Two-san, and who is the boy? Is that a tail? The little girl thought. The girl ran into the door that said, employees only, and closed the door. After a few minutes a man walked out of the door. The man has brown hair and brown eyes. He has a scar on his upper left cheek running down to his jaw. He is about 5 feet 10 inches. He is wearing a white short sleeve shirt with the numbers OO in front, the back, and on the shoulders in black. The word Higurashi on the back as well. It is located on top of the numbers also in black. He is also wearing dark blue jeans that stop just below his ankles with black high-top sneakers. His name was Dante Higurashi, the owner of the store. Hiruzen raised an eyebrow at Dante's attire. You like it Hiruzen? Dante asked. Where did you get those clothes that you're wearing? Hiruzen asked. I got it from the store a couple of blocks from here. The store sells Western clothes and accessories, Dante said. Well, I have to check it out someday, Hiruzen said. Just then the little girl walked out of the same door that Dante walked out of. Hey Two-san, where did you put the ceiling scrolls at? The young girl asked. I have them with me, Tenten-chan. Dante said. Tenten walked up to her father's side only to look at Naruto again. Now that I'm up close, he looks kind of handsome, Tenten thought. Sorry, where are my manners? This is my daughter Tenten, Dante said. Hi, she said as she waved at them. Hiruzen looked down at Naruto and smiled. Come on Naruto-kun, introduce yourself. Hiruzen said softly so that only Naruto could hear him. Naruto looked up at Hiruzen. You could see the fear that he has about meeting new people in his eyes. Hiruzen winced at seeing those eyes and couldn't stop himself from being angry at the villagers for what they'd done to Naruto. Damn villagers, I swear if they do anything else to him I might just kill them myself, Hiruzen thought bitterly. Naruto felt a hand on his shoulder and looked up to see Hiruzen smile and nodded towards him. If Gigi believes that they are nice, then maybe I should introduce myself, Naruto thought. Hi, my name is Naruto Uzumaki and I am 6 years old, Naruto said. Dante was surprised when he heard Naruto's name. So this is Kushina's son. He has the same hair color as Kushina but he looks more like Minato, Dante thought. Hey Naruto? Tenten called. Yes? Naruto answered. Is that really a tail? Tenten asked. Do I really have a tail? Naruto thought to himself. Yes you do, silly. I thought you noticed it when you took a shower, Ayane said. Well, I wasn't paying attention to the tail when I was taking a shower, Naruto said sheepishly. Inside his mindscape Ayane chuckled and the mysterious person face-palmed. He's just like Kakarot, the mysterious voice thought. Well anyway, let's get back to where we left off. After a brief conversation with Ayane about his tail, Naruto nodded. Yes, it's a real tail. See? Naruto said as he tried to move his tail for the first time. After seeing his tail move, Tenten walked up to him and tried to touch his tail but it moved at the last second. After seeing the tail move away from her she pouted. Can I pet your tail? Tenten asked. Without thinking about it, Naruto nodded. Wait. Don't, the mysterious voice said but was cut off by a jolt of pain. Naruto had never felt this kind of pain before. He felt all kinds of pain before but not like this. It was like all of his strength and energy just suddenly left his body and he was feeling like he could sleep for days. It was this day that Naruto knew the true meaning of pain. 1. The others noticed that when Tenten grabbed Naruto's tail, Naruto acted like he was in pain and all of his strength and energy just left him. So the tail has to be a weakness to his bloodline. When someone grabs his tail, all of his strength vanishes. That's a huge problem that could get in the way, Hiruzen thought. Tenten noticed that Naruto was in pain so she quickly lets go of his tail. I'm sorry Naruto. I didn't know that hurt, Tenten apologized. Don't worry about it Tenten, Naruto said. What was that? I never felt like that before, Naruto asked himself. That is the feeling when someone grabs your tail. I tried to warn you to not let her touch your tail. The only weakness that a Saiyajin has is hers tail, the mysterious person said. So I have to cut it off? Naruto asked. No you dimwit, you have to train the tail like it's a muscle. The more you train it, the less it hurts and eventually the weakness will disappear, the mysterious person explained. Oh, Naruto said. Naruto-kun, we should get some new clothes like we came here to do, Hiruzen said, interrupting Naruto from his conversation from the mysterious person. Sorry Gigi, Naruto said sheepishly. As they went to the clothing section, there's so many clothes that Naruto wanted to try on. The first outfit was an orange and blue jumpsuit. But Hiruzen, Ayane, and the mysterious person shot that down immediately. For Hiruzen and Ayane reason was simple, it was not fit for a shinobi. A shinobi must always wear clothing that blends in with the environment, Hiruzen said. Those were never meant for shinobi, and I will not let my container wear that hideous outfit, Ayane said. For the mysterious person reason well, you are a Saiyajin king, you will not wear anything with the color orange in it. Ever. The mysterious person yelled, causing Naruto to have a headache. After dashing all hope for his favorite color unless he want to face the wrath of the mysterious person in his head, Naruto went for his next outfit, which was a black short-sleeved shirt that stopped at his elbows, red camouflage cargo shorts that stops just below the knees with black steel-toe combat boots, and to finish it a black and red hoodie. The next outfit was a blue short-sleeved shirt that stops at mid-upper part of the arms, black cargo pants that stops just above the ankle with blue open-toe ninja sandals, and a black cloak. His last outfit was a black short-sleeved shirt with red inner sleeves stitched on that stops at his wrists, black pants that is made out of tough material and red steel-toe boots. He finished it off with a red trench coat and red lenses sunglasses. After getting his outfits, they went to the weapons section to give him a weapon. After looking around for some interesting weapons, Naruto spotted a couple of interesting weapons. The first was a katana. This katana is different from the other ones. The blade's length is 34 inches long, it is curved and it has an edge on top of the blade and grooves that go throughout the blade. It had a standard black guard. The handle was 12 inches long and was black nylon wrapped in red along with the scabbard wrapped in gray nylon. It's Saya's first katana in Blood Plus. Naruto went to grab it but he was too short so Hiruzen grabbed it for him. "Thanks Gigi," Naruto said. Dante raised an eyebrow at Naruto's pick and decided to walk over to the counter only to find out Naruto has been staring at another weapon. Naruto raised an eyebrow at the weapon he'd been staring at. The weapon was a white glove with many seals on the glove. "If you don't know what this is then I don't know what to say to you." "So I see that you're interested in the glove," Dante said. "How can a glove be a weapon?" Naruto questioned. Hiruzen was thinking about the same thing along with Ayane and the mysterious person. Dante smirked at Naruto and grabbed the glove and asked them to follow him into the backyard. Once they are in the backyard, Dante began to explain. "You see, I created this not that long ago. I got this idea from reading this manga called Full Metal Alchemist. By putting seals around the glove I could make explosions happen by snapping my fingers. All I have to do is add chakra into the glove and direct the explosion to where you want it and how big you want it. Like this," Dante said as he snapped his fingers and an explosion happened. Naruto was surprised at the explosion and looked over to Hiruzen. "Can I get it?" Naruto asked Hiruzen, giving him the puppy dog eyes. "Must resist it. Must resist it. Sigh damn it," Hiruzen thought as he nodded his head in approval. Naruto shouted in glee and hugged Hiruzen. "Thank you Gigi. You rock," Naruto said. Hiruzen chuckled. "You're welcome Naruto-kun," Hiruzen said. As they walk over to the counter, Dante put everything on the counter, the 3 copies of each outfit and the sword and a suitcase full of the glove. Hiruzen raised an eyebrow at this. "The glove can rip apart easily or become soaked in the rain and won't work, so I'm giving you a case full of them. Oh, and before I forget, the sword is the strongest sword in the store but also the weirdest. If you put your blood into the groove by cutting your thumb on the top edge of the sword, your blood will sharpen the blade to the point that it can cut through anything without a problem," Dante said. Naruto and Hiruzen nodded. "Okay, you total is 225,895 ryo," Dante said, causing Hiruzen to grumble about the high bill as he paid him. "Thank you. Please come again," Dante said while smiling. "If you do get this reference then I really don't know what to say about this." As Hiruzen and Naruto walked out of the store they walked towards the shopping district where Ichiraku's ramen shop was located. As they walked some of the villagers smiled and waved at him while some were looking at him strangely. On the outside Naruto was smiling and waving back at them, but on the inside Naruto was seething. "Damn civilians. Acting all happy like they don't abuse me. They don't even know that it's me that they're smiling and waving at," Naruto thought angrily. Naruto and Hiruzen turned the corner and continued to walk until they stop at a stand that read, Ichiraku's Ramen. Naruto's stomach starts to growl and his mouth starts to water from the heavenly scent called ramen. "Ah, the food of the gods. The old man knows how to cheer me up," Naruto thought as he quickly sat where his favorite stool is at. "Welcome to Ichiraku's What Can I Get You?" Tucci said. Tucci
is a middle-aged civilian that owns the ramen shop and acts as one of the chiefs. He is a jovial person and smiles often, especially if his number one customer Naruto would appear and eat at his stand. "Hey Tucci OG, can I have the usual?" Naruto asked. Tucci looked at Naruto puzzled. "I never seen you around here before," Tucci said. Naruto looks up at Tucci like he grown a second head. "What do you mean you don't know me? I show up here practically every day," Naruto said. Tucci just looked at him. "Naruto-kun, your appearance has changed." He's used to seeing blonde hair and blue eyes instead of red hair and black eyes, Ayane said. "Oh. Thanks Ayane-chan, I really didn't think about it like that, Naruto thought. Hiruzen chuckled when he seen Naruto's face morphed into one of recognition of why Tucci doesn't seem to recognize him. It's me Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto said. Tucci was about to grab his pot full of hot water to splash it on him when he looked at his face and saw the ever-recognizable whisker marks on his cheeks. Tucci's eyes grew wide in shock. Tucci then looked at Hiruzen for confirmation, to which he nodded. Naruto, wow, you look, Tucci couldn't even finish his sentence. Hey dad, what with the yelling? Ayame said as she walks out of the room in the back of the stand where employees enter. Ayame is a kind and cheerful person, and she, like Tucci, doesn't see Naruto as the Kyuubi incarnate. Ayame looks over to see her father with his eyes open in shock and jaw slightly unhinged. She then turns to see what her father is so shocked about, only to do the same and with an added blush. Naruto? Ayame stuttered in shock. Naruto looked at Ayame and smiled. Hey Ayame-ne-chan, Naruto said. Wow Naruto, you look awesome, Ayame said. If only I was younger. Sigh, is that a tail? Ayame thought. Thanks Ayame-ne-chan. Can I have my usual? I asked Tucci-oji, but I think I broke him cause he's been standing there with that same look for a couple of minutes. Naruto said, snapping Tucci out of his stupor. Ayame giggled when Tucci started to work on Naruto's order. -15 minutes later, Hiruzen is pale as a ghost, while Tucci's eyes turned into dollar signs while Ayame fainted 5 minutes into it. Why were they like this? Well, the answer is simple. Before Ayane changed Naruto into a Saiyajin, Naruto was a beast when it came to eating ramen. Each visit to there he would eat 10 to 15 bowls of ramen. Sure, the bill was high, but Hiruzen could still pay for the bill. Now that Naruto is turned into a Saiyajin, he now eats several times what he eats before, meaning 60 to 80 bowls of ramen per visit. The amount of bowls had Hiruzen pale and Tucci's eyes turn into dollar signs, while it was the speed of how fast Naruto ate his ramen had Ayame fainting within 5 minutes of the feeding frenzy, as Hiruzen had dubbed of how he ate his ramen. Before the change, when Naruto was eating ramen, he was a fast and sloppy eater. After the change, Naruto's ramen eating habits had become even faster and sloppier. Hiruzen couldn't even keep track of his arms and he was a cage. After Naruto put his last bowl of ramen down, he begins to pat his stomach. Ah, that hits the spot, Naruto said as he places his bowl on top of the counter. Well Gigi, I'm stuffed. Let's take my stuff back into my apartment, Naruto said as he got from his stool and began to walk out of the stand. Hiruzen also got up and tries to sneak out but is caught by Tucci clearing his throat. Here is your bill Hokage-sama, Tucci said, grinning ear to ear. Hiruzen begins to sweat, fearing what the price is going to end up being bankrupt. As he looked at the bill he becomes even paler. In fact, he's so pale that Orochimaru turns green in envy. Do you take checks? Hiruzen asked, sorrowfully crying a fountain of tears. A few minutes later, Hiruzen walked out of the stands depressed and pale. If I keep treating Naruto to ramen, I might have to do a couple of missions to be financially balanced, Hiruzen thought. Hiruzen looked up to see Naruto standing waiting for him. Come on Gigi, let's go, Naruto said. I'm coming Naruto-kun, Hiruzen said. As they walked towards Naruto's apartment, the civilians kept smiling and waving while some of the kids ran up to Naruto asking if they could pet his tail. Naruto politely said no, saying that when people grabbed his tail it makes him uncomfortable. The kids looked dejected but still smiled. A couple of minutes later they made it to Naruto's apartment. They walked to the top floor where his room was located and walked to the door that was labeled 89, Naruto Uzumaki, with graffiti markings of Demon Brat, and damages covered the door. When Naruto opened the door fell off of the hinges but it was still standing due to the hinge that was near the floor was still holding on to the door. Oh great, now I have to fix the door again, Naruto said in anger as he walked in his apartment. Hiruzen walked in after him and was surprised at the condition of Naruto's apartment. It was a mess. Clothes littered the floor. Most of the wood in the kitchen was destroyed due to either physical means or by the age of the wood. Mold was growing around the corners around the room. There are some scratches and holes around the walls that surround the living room and the dining room. It seems like the couch and the love seats in the living room were in very bad shape, and it seems like any sudden weight pressed down on the furniture it will simply destroy them. As they walked into the bedroom, it seems like what they saw in the dining room was the same with the ones in the bedroom, but only worse. In Naruto's bedroom, clothes and other things littered the floor so much that you can't see the floor, and if his eyes weren't deceiving him, he saw some old ramen on the floor and it just moved. Did that old ramen just move? Hiruzen asked himself with a shudder. He still couldn't get the fact that Naruto ate all that ramen. As he walked towards the windows and noticed that all of the windows were broken. "Hey Gigi, can you pass me the scrolls that contain my clothes please?" Naruto asked, interrupting Hiruzen from inspecting his room. As Hiruzen gave him the scrolls that contain his clothes, he watched as Naruto moved some stuff around before he lifted a floorboard revealing a secret compartment. As he watched Naruto put his scrolls full of clothes in the secret compartment, he noticed a jar full to the brim with Ryo notes. So he's been saving some money with his monthly stipend. And with how much he has saved, he could buy a small house and still have some left. So why is he still in this junky apartment complex that I rented out for him? Hiruzen asked himself. "Hey Gigi, can you pass me the suitcase and my sword please?" Naruto asked. Hiruzen nodded and handed him the suitcase first. He watched as Naruto opened up the closet door revealing his old orange and blue jumpsuit. He watched as Naruto pushed the jumpsuits apart and went to the back of the closet and started to move his hands like he was searching for something and pulled back another secret compartment. But unlike the first one, this one didn't have anything in it. He put the suitcase inside the secret compartment as well as the sword. After Naruto put his belongings away in his secret compartments, he offered Hiruzen something to drink, to which he agreed to have because of all the things that happened today. After a few minutes, Naruto returned with 2 cups full of hot tea. While they were drinking the hot tea, Hiruzen decided to spark a conversation between him and Naruto. "So Naruto, why do you hide all your belongings?" Hiruzen asked. "It's because every time I get nice stuff, the villagers always break down my apartment door and destroy it when they beat me to a living pulp," Naruto said. Hearing this, Hiruzen becomes angry with the villagers as well as some of his Anbu that he placed out to protect Naruto. "When I get back to my office, I'm going to make some changes because it seems like Anbu only steps in when Naruto's life is in danger and doesn't care about his property being destroyed." Hiruzen thought angrily. "How about the jar full of money?" Hiruzen asked, almost preparing for the worst. "That's for when I go food shopping, because while most of the villagers won't allow me in their shops, some of them do, but they charge me triple the prices for bad food," Naruto said. If Hiruzen wasn't mad before, he is certainly mad now. To be hearing the villagers are overcharging him all because the Kyuubi has been sealed inside of him just made even angrier. Those misguided fools. It seems like when we resume the council meeting tonight, I'm going to put my foot down. The civilian council has been gaining too much power. It's about time I show them who's the real leader here, Hiruzen thought angrily. Hiruzen finished drinking his tea when he decided that it was time to go. "Well, I'm going to have to go. I have some paperwork to do," Hiruzen said as he stood up and began to walk towards the door. "All right, see you later Gigi," Naruto said as he waved goodbye to him. Naruto watched as Hiruzen walked out of the apartment building. "Okay, now that Gigi is gone, I can now focus on who is this mysterious person in my head," Naruto thought. Naruto sat in lotus position and closed his eyes. "Hey Ayane, how'd I enter my mindscape?" Naruto thought. "All you need to do is think about me and you should appear here," Ayane said. "Oh, thanks Ayane-chan," Naruto thought. Naruto closed his eyes for a few minutes and then opened them to find out that he had successfully went into his mindscape. Inside Naruto's mindscape, as Naruto opened his eyes, he found out that he was staring into Ayane's chest. Naruto blushed at being so close. Ayane chuckled at seeing Naruto blush. Before things could go any farther, Ayane cleared her throat. "Not that I don't mind you looking at my chest, but we have other matters to attend to, Naruto-kun," Ayane said. Naruto nodded. "Now that I'm here, can you please show yourself?" Naruto asked the mysterious person. Fine," the mysterious person said as he walked out of the shadows. The mysterious man was short, standing at an average height of 5 inches 6. He is very muscular and seems to have a permanent scowl on his face. He has black widow's peak hair and black eyes. He wear a blue leotard and white boots. "Who are you Are you in my head?" Naruto asked. The person crossed his arms over his chest and spoke. "My name is Vegeta. The reason for being in your head is because of King Yema and the Supreme Kai." The person revealed is Vegeta said. Ayane widened her eyes in shock. The Great King Yema and the Supreme Kai were names that were lost ages ago. If she didn't hear it from Goku and her father, then she would never believed it. The Great King Yema, the Supreme Kai? Naruto asked. The Great King Yema is the overseer of souls and judges them if they go to heaven or HFIL. Ayane said. HFIL? Naruto questioned. Home for infinite losers, Ayane said. Oh. Naruto said. Anyway, the Supreme Kai is the one who rules over the universe, Ayane said. Naruto nodded his head in understanding. Why would King Yema and the Supreme Kai send you here? Ayane asked. It's because they wanted Kakarot to train him, but he went out of his way to become a Biju, so they sent me here to train him, Vegeta said. So you're here to train me? Naruto asked. Yes, and since you have some of my DNA inside of you, I will be teaching you my moves as well as Kakarot's. Vegeta said. Cool, can we start now? Naruto asked excitedly. No, we will start tomorrow, Vegeta said. Why? There's enough time for us to start training now, Naruto whined. Because your body is not finished transforming yet, Vegeta said. I thought it was over already, Naruto said. The most painful of the transformation is over, but it's not done yet, Vegeta said. Then how long is it going to take for the transformation to finish? Naruto asked. It should be done by tomorrow morning. Also, you will be experiencing some immediate changes when you wake up, Vegeta said. Like what changes? Naruto asked. Well, the first thing you will experience is an attitude change, Vegeta said. Attitude change? Naruto said. Vegeta nodded and decided to explain. Since you is a full-blooded Saiyajin, you will have an attitude that will match it, Vegeta said. Naruto nodded his head. He didn't really understand why his attitude would change, but he didn't press on. Second, you will immediately notice that your chakra will be nearly non-existence, Vegeta said. Both Naruto and Ayane is shocked at this revelation. What? Why is my chakra going to be removed? Naruto questioned. I didn't say that your chakra will be removed, I said it will be nearly non-existence. Your body can't naturally produce two different energies at the same time, especially if you already have the energy that is naturally produced as a Saiyajin. Your body will still produce chakra thanks to the spiritual energy, but it will produce at a very slow rate. So if you want to use chakra in abundance, then it has to come from a different source, Vegeta explained. So I could use Ayane-chan's chakra if I need to? Naruto asked. Yes, you can. But I must warn you, if you use her chakra you might turn into a demon, Vegeta said. Why would he turn into a demon if he used my chakra? Ayane asked. It's because of your physical side of your chakra that produces demonic Kai. Since Saiyajin's DNA can adapt to use different kinds of Kai, using yours will most likely change him into a demon. And it seems like some demon Kai has already altered the transformation already, Vegeta said. What do you mean? What do you mean? Naruto and Ayane asked at the same time. A Saiyajin always has black hair and a brown tail, but you have red hair and a red tail, Vegeta said. So I've become a demon? Naruto asked. No, there wasn't enough demonic Kai left after the transformation for you to turn into a demon, Vegeta said. Oh, Naruto said. I might not be able to train you today, but could train your tail, Vegeta said. How could I train my tail? Naruto asked. Just use your sword that you have just gotten today and use it as weights. Just wrap your tail around it and lift it. Keep doing that until your tail get used to the weight, Vegeta explained. Naruto nodded. Well, I'm getting out of here cause I'm hungry. See you later, Ayane-chan, Vegeta-san, Naruto said as he walked out of the area. A couple of seconds later Naruto comes back rubbing the back of his head sheepishly. Ayane-chan, how'd I get out of here? Naruto asked. Vegeta face-palmed and started grumbling something about Kakarot. Ayane chuckled. All you have to do is think about returning to the real world and that should do it, Ayane said. Naruto nodded and waved. Thanks Ayane-chan, Naruto said as he faded from his mindscape. Outside of Naruto's mindscape, Naruto opened his eyes to reveal that he is back inside of his apartment. After Naruto jumped off his bed, he went to his closet and opened his secret compartment to pull out his sword. Vegeta-san said that I should train my tail so when people grab it I won't go weak in the knees. Naruto thought as he wrapped his tail around the sword and started to lift it. Gosh, this sword is heavier than I thought it was going to be. Naruto thought, struggling to lift the sword. With Hiruzen is in his office doing his paperwork when he called Anbu. Yes, Hokage-sama. One of Anbu said. Shark, I want you to get everyone that's on the council. It's about time when finish the council meeting we had last night, Hiruzen said. Hi Hokage-sama. Shark said as he disappeared. Starting right now, things are going to change either they like it or not, Hiruzen thought. A couple of seconds later Shark appeared and bowed. The council has been assembled, Hokage-sama, Shark said. Thank you, Shark, Hiruzen said as he stood up and walked out of his office. As Hiruzen walked towards the council meeting room he sighed. Let's get this over with, Hiruzen thought as he pushed open the doors and walked in. The next day with Naruto, it was late in the morning when Naruto woke up. He trained his until the late night when he decided to get something to eat and couldn't get the fact that no matter how many cups of processed ramen that he ate he still wasn't full. In fact, he ate all of his ramen cups and he still wasn't full. It wasn't until he learned from Vegeta that Saiyajins have fast metabolisms and have to eat about 20 times the amount of food that humans eat. And before Naruto could celebrate that he could eat more of his favorite food, Vegeta had shattered his happiness by saying, starting tomorrow you will not eat ramen. Eating ramen all the time is not healthy and it will leave you to be short. And no Saiyajin will not be short, Vegeta said. After he said that, Naruto was found on the floor in fetal position with a rain cloud over his head muttering something about short people taking away the food of the gods, which led Ayane to start laughing and Vegeta throwing a tantrum about how he is not short and thus causing Naruto to have a headache. After a short while Naruto decided to get some sleep because he will start his training tomorrow. Naruto stretched his muscles for about a minute before walking to the bathroom to do his morning routine. After about 20 minutes later Naruto walks out of the bathroom, nothing but a towel wrapped around him. After about another 5 minutes Naruto walks out wearing one of his outfits that he got yesterday. Naruto then walked towards the kitchen looking for something to eat only to realize. What the? Naruto yelled out. Instead of having a non-stop amount of ramen packets stuffed in his pantry, there was nothing but healthy foods that mysteriously appeared replacing the ramen. As he looked around he found a letter addressed with his name on it. Brat, to show you what I mean about having no more ramen all the time, I took the liberty of taking over your body while you were sleeping and burned all of your ramen and replaced it with healthier foods and a cookbook for you to start learning how to cook your food. Sincerely, the Prince of all Saiyajins, Vegeta. PS. Maybe next time you'll think about calling me short brat. After reading the letter, Naruto went into a shock-induced coma. After a couple of minutes of standing there and staring at the letter, reading it over multiple times to see if it was legit, Naruto finally broke down and started to cry a river of tears in sadness, mourning the death of the food of the gods. It's been 2 weeks since Naruto had gained the blood of the long-since-dead race, the Saiyajin. It was a hectic 2 weeks for Naruto and the villagers. It was hectic for Naruto because of Vegeta's way of training. The way Vegeta trains Naruto is that he runs him into the ground, then when Naruto is tired he uses ramen as a motivator for him to keep going until he passes out from exhaustion. While most of his training had been nothing but physical training, Vegeta had also taught him some Kai control techniques and one of his moves called Ga-gun. Naruto had quickly grown to fear Vegeta when he was training him, and Vegeta had quickly known that Naruto was not a morning person. When Naruto wakes up, he acts like a grumpy child before it mellows out to being serious. Vegeta had tried numerously times to get rid of that quirk and failed. So Vegeta did the next best thing. Blame it on having Kakarot's DNA mixed in with his. When Vegeta was training Naruto, they always train away from the village after getting the okay from the old man, to which it took a lot of convincing for him to allow it. To Naruto, it was strange having to train miles away from the village, but then he knew why he had to when he first transformed into a Uzaru for the first time. Lucky Naruto wasn't near any villages when it happened. But one thing was for sure, he was glad that he decided to wear his orange jumpsuit that day. When Naruto wasn't training, he usually walks around the village and he noticed that some of the villagers went back to glaring at him while some of them looked at him with indifference. He just ignored them whenever they glared at him. He didn't really care if they like him or not. When the civilian council found out that Naruto had gotten a makeover due to a new bloodline, they claimed that the Kyuubi had taken over the boy and they demanded that they should kill it before it gains its strength back, which was immediately shot down by a huge dose of ki. killing intent, by the Sandaime Hokage and the Shinobi Council. After discussing the bits and pieces of what Naruto told him of the bloodline, he had bothered to not tell them the weakness of the bloodline because the civilian council would tell the villagers and the villagers would use it as a way to kill Naruto, and he wasn't going to take a chance. After that discussion, the elderly Hokage had told them about what Naruto and him talked about a couple of minutes before the council meeting, and after a speech of how he was disappointed with them. Of course, the civilian council denied that they did what they did to Naruto, but he just ignored their lies and told if that continues then their business will be shut down permanently and will be kicked off the civilian council. And with that he ended the council meeting, leaving the civilian council displeased. During the 2 weeks after the meeting, the villagers had tried to find ways to kill Naruto, but ended up disappearing due to the Sandaime Hokage fixing the Anbu that was supposed to protect Naruto and giving them the green light to kill any villagers that try to harm Naruto, and threaten them that if Naruto get harmed by that villagers then he is going to kill them. After about 10 days of the villagers disappearing, they decided to give up on trying to kill Naruto, which was good on the ANBU's morale because some of them had to kill their good friends and even family members just because they don't know when to let go of their hatred. Some of them retired from Anbu to become regular shinobi because they suffered mental trauma, and some had to see a psychiatrist. Right now Naruto is packing his things in a ceiling scroll, thinking about what Jiraiya is going to be teaching him and what places will they be going to. As he was packing his clothes, there was a knock on the door. "Who there?" Naruto asked in a gruff voice. That was another thing that changed about Naruto. It was around midday on the day when the transformation was completed. When Naruto asked Vegeta why his voice changed, all Vegeta said was it was a voice that a Saiyajin warrior is proud of. Naruto shrugged it off as being prideful about the Saiyajin race, which earned Naruto a headache and a more hazardous training regimen than before. "It's me, Tenten," the person now revealed as Tenten said. Naruto walks towards the door and opens it. Tenten smiles and walks in. "Hey Tenten, what are you doing here?" Naruto asked. "What? I can't say goodbye to my friend before he leaves?" Tenten asked as she crossed her arms over her chest and pouted. "A friend? I barely know you for 2 weeks and you call me your friend?" Naruto asked. Tenten nodded. "Naruto, I am your friend. I like being around you as much as I can. Especially if you are not going to be here for 7 years. Tenten said as she hugged him. "It seems like she developed a crush on you, Naruto-kun," Ayane said. "It's impossible for Tenten to develop a crush on me. I've only known her for 2 weeks, Naruto said. "Oh, then explain how the Hyuga heiress hugged you while blushing up a storm," Ayane said. Flashback 5 days ago, Naruto just left Higarashi's weapon shop after purchasing some ankle and wrist weights and was on his way to his apartment when he heard someone crying. Naruto was about to ignore it thinking some child got lost and is searching for her parents when he heard someone laughing. He looked over there and saw a group of boys standing in a semi-circle surrounding the crying girl. "Hey, look at her eyes, they have no pupils," one of the boys yelled. "Hey, she looks like she's from the Hyuga clan," the second boy said. "Impossible. They don't have weaklings like her in the clan. Besides, they all have stick up their asses. There's no way she's from the Hyuga clan," the third boy said. The first boy snickered as he pushed her on the ground. "Hey, if you're really from the Hyuga clan, then bow down to us," the second boy said. The little girl shook her head. The third boy got angry and kicked her. "Hey, don't hurt her," the first boy yelled out to his friend in surprise. "Shut up, Jake," he yelled back in anger. The newly discovered Jake flinched back at never seeing his friend this angry before. "Dave, calm down, man," the second boy said. Dave glared at the boy, then looked back down at the girl. "You Hyugas think that you so high up that you think that you look down on us commoners," Dave said. The girl was still in pain from being kicked, shook her head. Dave glared harder at the girl and put his foot on her head and put some pressure on it. His two friends stared at him in shock and in fear for the girl's life. "Dave, stop that. You're hurting her," the second boy said. Dave then looked his friend in anger. "Matthew, you don't understand," Dave said. "I don't understand what?" Matthew yelled. "It was thanks to the Hyugas that my Oni-san killed herself," Dave yelled. His two friends widened their eyes in shock. "My Oni-san was a kunoichi and she had a Hyuga as a teammate," Dave said as tears began to fall from his face. On a mission, they were supposed to get rid of some bandits that was terrorizing a nearby village. It was supposed to be an easy C rank mission, but it wasn't. There was a high A rank missing nin that was in charge of the bandit camp. Caught by surprise, they tried to retreat to send a message to bring back up, but the missing nin sensed them and quickly killed the Junin that was the team leader. He then quickly killed her third teammate. The missing nin went after Oni-san. After about a couple of seconds of fighting on her own, the Hyuga joined in and started to fight with her. After the missing nin managed to separate the two, he went after the Hyuga. After about a couple of minutes, the missing nin had gotten a good hit on the Hyuga, but the Hyuga kawaramid and left the scene, leaving my Oni-san unconscious. Dave said as tears freely fell down his face. "Do you know what they'd done to her?" Dave asked them. Both Jake and Matthew shook their heads. The missing nin tied her up and raped her. After he was finished with her, he let the bandits have their way with her. And by the time any backup arrived, her mind was already broken. They rescued her and sent her to the hospital to see if she was okay, only to find out that she had gotten pregnant because she couldn't do the anti-pregnancy jutsu. When my family and me went to visit her to check on how she was doing, she had killed herself by biting her tongue. Dave said as angry tears fell down his face. When we held the funeral, the Hyuga that was on her team didn't even show up. In fact, he didn't show up on his teammate's funeral as well. He just went on with his life like nothing happened. Dave said in anger while unconsciously putting more pressure on her head. Naruto, having heard enough, decided to step in, scaring the three boys. "Story time is over, boys," Naruto said. "What did you say?" Dave growled out. "Bullying this little girl just because you have a grudge against her clan is not going to bring your Oni-san back from the dead," Naruto said. "You shouldn't be saying that, you ing demon. After all, you did kill my Ka-san," Jake yelled out. "My two-san told me that you killed my Oni-san as well," Matthew yelled. "So do us a favor, die," Dave screamed out as he ran at Naruto and threw a punch. Naruto tilted his head to the side to dodge the punch that was aimed at his face and punched Dave in the stomach, forcing oxygen out from his lungs, blood and saliva from his mouth. In all honesty, Dave was unconscious before he hit the ground. The other two back in fear at seeing Dave go down with one punch. "That was pathetic. He's down in one punch, what a waste of time," Naruto said as he looked down at Dave. "Hey, I suggest that you grab your friend there and run before I do the same thing," Naruto said while cracking his knuckles. Getting the message, Jake and Matthew grabbed Dave and ran off. After a while, the little girl got up and hugged him. Thank you, mister," the little girl stuttered while blushing. They broke the hug, and since Naruto was a little taller than her, he squatted down to her eye level. "Hey, what's your name?" Naruto said. My name is Hi Hinata Hi Hyuga." What's yo yours?" Hinata stuttered while blushing. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki," Naruto said while patting the top of her head, making sure not to put too much strength to not hurt her. Naruto sighed. He's don't what to say this, knowing that he might hurt her feelings, but he have to say it. "Listen, Hinata, what I'm about to say might hurt your feelings and whatnot, but you is going to have to stop being so soft. This world don't have a place for soft people. You have to exert some dominance if you don't want people to step all over you. Take those bullies for an example. If you keep being the way you are right now, people is going to walk all over you because of your kindness to everyone. I'm not saying you have to be mean to everyone, but only be kind to the ones that deserves it," Naruto said. "I'll try," Hinata stuttered while on the verge of tears. Naruto sighed. He knew that this was going to happen. "Listen, Hinata, I was just like you once up until a couple of years ago. I was shy, had low self-esteem, and a crybaby," Naruto said, gaining Hinata's attention. "And don't forget bedwetter," Ayane said too happily. "And weak," said Vegeta with a smirk of his own. "Ayane, nobody need to know about that," Naruto yelled in embarrassment, drawing a chuckle from Ayane and Vegeta. "And I wouldn't be laughing if I were you, short stack," Naruto said, obvious to Vegeta. "I am not short," Vegeta yelled. "Your height is the average height for a female," Naruto deadpanned, causing an arrow that said, "average height for a female," to pierce Vegeta in the chest. "Even Ayane is taller than you in her human form," Naruto deadpanned farther, causing another arrow that said, "even Ayane is taller than you in her human form," to pierce Vegeta on the other side of his chest. "Just face it," You is short, and there's nothing you can do about it, Naruto said, finishing Vegeta off was a huge boulder that said, "You is short." That crushed Vegeta. A while later Vegeta is seen with a dark cloud over his head while muttering, "I'm not short," over and over. Naruto smirked mentally. Ah, revenge is always sweet. Hinata stared at Naruto funny. Hello. Hinata stuttered. Anyway, I was always smiling and being nice to people even though they were never nice to me. I was often bullied, beaten up to the point of almost dying, and spat on. Naruto said with a little anger appearing in his voice. Hinata was stunned. She didn't know that was the life of the person that just saved her from getting beat up. She was horrified at the way his life turned out to be. She couldn't believe the villagers would do that to him. But before she could voice out her concerns, Naruto started to talk again. For years I cried myself to sleep asking myself, why do they hate me? Eventually I stopped caring about the villagers and only to care for myself since nobody else would, Naruto said. Hinata was in tears. She quickly grabbed Naruto and hugged him as she sobbed into his chest. Naruto patted her back. It's okay, Hinata. Naruto said. It's not okay, Hinata yelled, surprising Naruto and herself. What I mean is that you take all this pain and you don't cry, Hinata said as tears began to fall even harder. So I made up my mind. Since you stop crying for yourself, I'll cry for you, Hinata said, shocking Naruto. Naruto was so shocked that he froze stiff. He finally regained movement. Why would you do this for me? You didn't even know me before today, Naruto said. It's because I can see the sadness, loneliness, and pain in your eyes. You try to hide it but you can't. Like my Ka-san said, your eyes are the window to your soul. And your soul wants to cry out in pain from the sadness and loneliness from your heart, Hinata said. Naruto frowned. I think she pities me, Naruto thought. How do you know this? Naruto asked. It's simple, we have the same eyes, Hinata said, causing Naruto to be confused. The same eyes? Naruto asked. Hinata nodded. My Tusama wants me to be a strong Hyuga, so he started to train me when I was 5. But I couldn't do the gentle fist correctly, so the Hyuga elders think I'm a failure and they try to make my little sister become the next heiress and put the curse mark on me, but my father always deny them. But I can always tell that he's disappointed with me, so I usually just stay in my room until I get called or I decided that I want to leave the compound, Hinata says in sadness. So he wants you to become a shinobi? Naruto asked. Hinata nodded. Do you really want to become a shinobi? Naruto asked. Hinata nodded again. I want to become a shinobi to make Tusan proud of me, she said. Well, all you have to do is become strong, Naruto said. Hinata nodded and smiled. Hinata-sama. Where are you? A Hyuga said. Hinata turned her head to look at the person who called her. Ko-san over here, Hinata called out. Hinata turned her head back to Naruto only to realize that he disappeared. Hinata-sama, why'd you disappear like that? You could have gotten seriously injured, Ko, her bodyguard yelled as he grabbed her hand and dragged her away from the area. It was later that week that Hinata decided to become strong to make her father and Naruto proud. Flashback over. She's very shy, and I saved her from a bunch of bullies, Naruto said. Hey Naruto, are you listening to me? Tenten yelled, snapping him away from his conversation with Ayane. Sorry about that, Tenten. I was thinking about something, Naruto said. What was you thinking about, Naruto? Tenten asked. Oh, nothing much, just thinking about what Jiraiya is going to teach me throughout the 7 years that we will be gone from the village, Naruto said as he grabbed his sword and put it on his hip. Tenten nodded. Since you have only about a couple of hours left before you have to leave, how about me and you go to the park? Tenten asked. I don't know about going to the park. I was thinking that we pull a huge prank before we leave, Naruto said. Tenten grinned. -2 hours later, Naruto and Tenten laughed as they ran away from Genin-ranked shinobi and some shopkeepers. The Chunin and Junin-ranked shinobi gave up when they saw whom they were chasing. What's the point of chasing someone who you can't catch, was the thought of many Chunins and Junins. What was so bad that Naruto and Tenten were being chased by shinobi? Well, a time-release storage seals filled with balloons filled with hot pink-colored paint attached on the roof of every gate check-in station and detonated at the same time can do that. As well as throwing them at civilian-owned stores can get the store owners to chase after you. After about 10 minutes, Naruto and Tenten finally shakes them off of their trail only to be cut off by Anbu. Uzumaki Naruto, you is wanted by the Hokage, the Anbu member said. Naruto nodded and turned to Tenten. Well, it's about time for me to leave. See you in 7 years, Tenten, Naruto said. Tenten nodded and waved. Bye, Naruto. And don't forget to come see me when you come back to the village, Tenten said as she watched the Anbu member and Naruto disappear. With Naruto and the Anbu member appeared inside the Hokage's office. Did you really had to pull a prank on your last day here? Hiruzen asked Naruto in an exasperated voice. Naruto smirked. Come on, Gigi, you know I had to pull a prank on my last day here. I wouldn't be the prankster king from hell if I didn't, Naruto said. Hiruzen sighed. I'm getting too old for this shit. Thanks to Naruto's harmless prank, I'm going to be buried in paperwork and won't have time to read Icha violence. If only there was a way to defeat paperwork. Damn you, Naruto. Hiruzen fought bitterly. Naruto, you know that you're not making my job any easier, Hiruzen said. The Hokage's job is never easy, nor will it ever be. And you already know that, Gigi, Naruto said. Hiruzen nodded. And that's why when you get stronger I'll dump this job on you. Let's see how you handle all this paperwork. Hiruzen fought as he chuckled evilly, scaring Naruto a little. Just then Jiraiya jumped through the open window. Hey old man, is the brat ready? Jiraiya asked. Just then Jiraiya received a small ki blast to the face, scorching his face and hair a little. I am not a brat, Jiraiya, Naruto yelled as his eyebrow twitched at being called a brat. You are a brat, Jiraiya said. I am not, Naruto yelled. Yes, you are, Jiraiya yelled back. Am not, Naruto yelled. You are, Jiraiya yelled. Am not, Naruto yelled. Everyone that was in the Hokage's office sweat dropped at the childish argument they're having. Even Ayane and Vegeta's sweat dropped. Hiruzen cleared his throat, interrupting them from their childish argument. As much as I like watching you two arguing like little children, I'm going to have to interrupt, Hiruzen said while chuckling. Well, Gigi, technically I'm still as a child, Naruto said. Hiruzen nodded. Well, after I give you this you'll be considered an adult, Hiruzen said as he reached in his desk and tossed Naruto a headband. Naruto caught it. Hey Gigi, why are you giving me this? Naruto asked. Well, according to Konoha law, if a Junin or higher decided make someone his or her apprentice and is accepted by the Hokage, the apprentice automatically becomes a shinobi. And Jiraiya here had made you his apprentice, Hiruzen said. Naruto looked at Jiraiya, then looked back at Hiruzen. Are you sure he is a Junin? Naruto asked. Naruto smirked as he saw Jiraiya's eyebrow twitch. Jiraiya here has the rank of Sennin, one of the only 3 people that is alive has achieved that rank, Hiruzen said. What's a Sennin? Naruto asked. A Sennin is a rank that was lost after the clan wars. It is to show that he or she has the rights to travel anywhere around the elemental countries and the western lands. It is to show that he or she is the strongest person in his or her clan, otherwise being a clan heir or not, Hiruzen explained. There are 2 ways of achieving the rank of Sennin. One of them is to defeat the current Sennin before achieving the rank of Sennin, Hiruzen said. While the other way is that the enemy can give you that rank if they fought to a draw and both of them is too injured and or they're too low on chakra to continue the fight. But the thing is your enemy has to have the rank of Sennin to give you that title. Hiruzen finished explaining. Naruto nodded. Naruto then tied the headband around his left arm. Well, old man, since the brat is already here, we can leave now, Jiraiya said. Naruto's eyebrow twitched. Hiruzen chuckled at the 2 of them. When I return in 7 years I'm going to be stronger than you, Gigi, Naruto said. Hiruzen smiled at Naruto. We'll see about that, Naruto, Hiruzen said. We'll see you in the next 7 years, old man, and I'll try to send you Naruto's progress every now and then, Jiraiya said as he grabbed Naruto and Sunshine towards the main gate. As they walked through the main gate, Naruto looked at Jiraiya. What do you want? Jiraiya asked. Where are we going? Naruto asked. Well, our first stop is Uzushiogakure so you can see your mother and your little sister, Jiraiya said. Naruto smiled at getting to see his mother and little sister for the first time. It's been a few days since Naruto and Jiraiya left Konoha and now they find
themselves on a dock waiting for their boat that they paid for to arrive. Naruto trying to quell his boredom by tossing a key ball up and down. He had been waiting for a ship that Jiraiya had paid for about a half an hour. Dispersing the key ball, Naruto decided to strike a conversation with Jiraiya. Hey Jiraiya, how long do you think that we can get to Uzushiogakure? Naruto asked as he crossed his arms around his chest, staring at the water in impatience. It takes about 7 hours to get there, Jiraiya answered. I hope we'll be doing something while on the boat for 7 hours, Naruto said. Don't worry brat, I'll teach you something, Jiraiya said. Naruto's eyebrow twitched. Here comes our boat now, Jiraiya said. Finally, Naruto said as he looked at the ship. The boat was a medium-sized ship. While most of the ship is made from wood, some parts of the ship have metal melded into it for protection. Otherwise it was just an old-fashioned boat with cannons loaded on the side to fend off pirates. As the boat pulled in, the anchor slowly falls into the water. The sailors lowered a plank for them to get on and off the ship. A few minutes later, the ship's captain walked the plank, pun not intended. Besides, I always wanted to say that, and greeted them. My name is Zack Shepard and I'm the captain of this ship. The captain introduced himself. Zack is 5 feet 11 inches with medium dark tanned skin. He has brown hair and brown eyes. On his face there are 3 scars surrounding his face. 2 are on his cheeks while 1 ran across his left eye. Zack is wearing a blue and white sailor's outfit. Don't blame me. I don't know what ship captains wear. Hello. My name is Jiraiya and this is my apprentice Naruto Uzumaki. Jiraiya said, introducing himself and Naruto. Before we leave, we'll be staying here for 20 to 30 minutes to restock our supplies, Zack said. Jiraiya nodded. All right kid. Let us get on the ship so we could relax, Jiraiya said. Naruto nodded as he grabbed his stuff and proceeded to walk up the plank and onto the ship. Once on board the ship, one of the sailors guided them to a room to put their belongings in. Since it's only a 1-day trip to Uzushiogakure, they didn't need a big room. Naruto sat down on the edge of the bed. He pulled out an orange book called Icha Icha Paradise. As he began reading, Ayane decided to butt in with her opinion of the book. I don't understand how you can read that smut. It's disgusting and it seems like in every chapter has a scene in it, Ayane said. While most people read it for the scene, I really don't care about it. The only reason I read this is because it has a good storyline that surrounds the male protagonist, Naruto said. Humph. While you two sit there and argue about if the story is pure smut or a good story, Vegeta said, only to get cut off by Ayane and Naruto. It is smut. It is smut. Ayane and Naruto yelled at the same time. Vegeta eyebrow twitched in anger at being cut off. As I was saying before, I was rudely cut off. I remember Bulma and me doing most of the positions that is in the book, Vegeta said. Hey Vegeta, who is Bulma? Naruto asked. Bulma was my wife back when I was living. Back when we first met, we were enemies. I teamed up with her friends to search for the Dragon Balls on Namek. At first we were enemies due to our fight on Earth and my loss to Kakarot's son due to him being a great ape. I managed to escape the planet using my space pod, but not before one of Kakarot's friend tried to kill me, only to be spared by Kakarot calling off his friend. After I got healed from a nearby space station, I went to Namek to search for the Dragon Balls there, since the ones on Earth were unusable due to the person overlooking Earth died. From there I proceeded to collect the Dragon Balls, not knowing Kakarot's son and friends landed on Namek with the same agenda as me. We ran into each other when we were flying past each other with a Dragon Ball in our hands. At first I was angry and I wanted to kill them, but I was busy at the time and decided to let them go. After I hid the Dragon Ball, I decided to confront them and tell them to hand over the Dragon Ball. When I first met her, I demanded her to tell me where the Dragon Ball was. She was so scared that she almost wet her pants. After I realized that it wasn't there, I quickly flew off to find them, Vegeta said. I know that particular part was Bulma's nightmare, but I decided to make it real, so don't hate me. What is a Dragon Ball? Naruto asked. A Dragon Ball is a magical object that if you collect all 7 of them, they will grant you any wish, Vegeta said, shocking both Ayane and Naruto. That sound like a lot of trouble. If someone that has bad intentions towards the Earth get their hands on them, Naruto said as he leaves that threat open for their imagination to take over, causing Ayane and Naruto to shudder and Vegeta to wince, which was noticed by Ayane. Well, the good news is that the Dragon Balls are inactive due to the Earth's overseer put himself in a deep hibernation, Vegeta said. Who is this overseer of Earth? Naruto asked. I'll tell you about that later on, but right now Jiraiya is calling you, Vegeta said. Brat. Jiraiya yelled, only receiving a small ki blast as his answer. OWW. What was that for? Jiraiya asked. I am not a brat. Until you stop calling me that, I will keep throwing ki blasts at you, Naruto said. Whatever. Jiraiya said, shrugging off the pain like it was nothing. So what do you want? Naruto asked. Come out to the front of the ship to start your training, Jiraiya said. Naruto nodded as he walked out of the room. As Naruto walked towards the stairway that leads to outside of the ship, he thought about what Jiraiya is going to teach him. By the end of his train of thought, Naruto is on the top step looking for Jiraiya, to which he found easily standing in the middle of the ship. Naruto walked up to him with a spring in his step. If he didn't have the Saiyajin transformation, he would have been smiling from ear to ear, excited to be training to become a shinobi. But since he has been transformed into a Saiyajin, all he did was walk towards Jiraiya with a small smirk on his face, unable to keep his excitement in. So what are we doing today? Naruto asked. Well, Hiruzen told me that during the 2 weeks that I was out you was training. He didn't say what you were training in though, so we are going to have a spar to see where you're at, Jiraiya said. Naruto's smirk turned into a grin when Jiraiya said that they were going to spar. Anything goes? Naruto asked. Jiraiya looked at Naruto in confusion. Why would he say that? It's not like he has something that could hurt me, Jiraiya thought as he nodded, making Naruto's grin turn into a smile, not just any smile. A predator smile, unnerving Jiraiya a little. Oh Jiraiya, Naruto is no longer a human. Ops, my bad, it seems like I didn't tell him. Oh well, the author thought. Naruto smiled savagely. During the 2 weeks he was training, Vegeta taught him a little bit of how he fight in his mindscape, and he never had a chance to use his fighting style, until now that is. As Jiraiya got into a fighting stance, Naruto spread his legs and got into a slight crouch while his left hand is curled and is away from his body, while his right hand is curled and is located in front of his forehead. Just think of the stance when Vegeta fought Goku for the first time. Just what kind of stance is that? From the look of it, it's a defensive stance that relies on your opponent to attack first. There are a couple of huge holes that I could spot from that stance alone, but that is expected since he never fought anyone yet, Jiraiya thought. They stayed the way for a couple of minutes. Jiraiya had decided to make the first move and ran towards Naruto and threw a punch aiming at Naruto's face at Chunin level speeds, thinking that Naruto won't be able to dodge punches at that level of speed. Naruto surprised Jiraiya by not only dodging but also landing a punch on his stomach, leaving Jiraiya a bit breathless. Jiraiya quickly recovered and kneed Naruto in the chest, but that was blocked. Naruto did a leg sweep, but Jiraiya jumped backwards to dodge it. While Jiraiya was still in the air, Naruto jumped after him and threw a punch that was blocked, but due to them being in the air, the power of the punch made Jiraiya fall much faster. After landing, Jiraiya quickly rolled to the left, dodging Naruto's falling kick. Jiraiya quickly jumped back, giving him some space between him and Naruto. It seems like what Hiruzen-sensei said about him training for the 2 weeks that I was out getting information was right. I never would have expected him to be able to react at mid-Chunin level speed. His punching power is between mid and high Chunin, which is astounding for someone who only trained for 2 weeks, Jiraiya thought. Jiraiya decided that he should speed up before Naruto finds some way to defeat him. Now charging at Naruto with Chunin level speed, completely catching Naruto off guard, and punches Naruto in the face, causing Naruto to fly back because of the force of the punch added with the speed that Jiraiya was running, proving that Isaac Newton's law about force can hurt. But luckily Naruto straightened out before he crashed into the port side of the ship's railing. Naruto launched a couple of ki balls towards Jiraiya. Jiraiya dodged most of the ki balls, but the last 2 hit him and they exploded into smoke. As the smoke clears, Jiraiya's face was a little bloody and his clothes were lightly torched. Jiraiya looked at Naruto's last location only to find him missing. As Jiraiya begins to look around for Naruto, only to hear him yelling. Gagun! Fire! Naruto yelled from above Jiraiya. Jiraiya looked up to where he heard Naruto's yell from, only to find a purple laser shooting down on him like an 18-wheeler barreling downhill. The Gagun hit and caused a small explosion. The area where the Gagun hit was scorched, and a log was placed in the middle where Jiraiya once stood. Let the almighty log say amen. Jiraiya thought as he silently thanked the log for saving his life. The log is the religion for all shinobi and kunoichi. Since most shinobi uses the kawarimi, a shinobi named Hibiki Yuto created the religion. At first, most shinobi of his era had thought that he was crazy for making up that religion, but later after his era had ended and in the beginning of the clan war era, everyone celebrated the holiday of when the log was created, which was created on December 15th, they called it Log Day. It's on that day when all shinobi and kunoichi get together and thank the log for another year of life. In all villages, it's mandatory that if you want to become a shinobi you must convert yourself to the log. Now back to where we left off. Naruto cursed. While still in midair, he saw the captain walking up towards Jiraiya with an angry expression on his face. "Hey, what are you doing to my ship?" Zack yelled. Jiraiya turned around to see Zack steaming with anger. "What do you mean?" Jiraiya asked, clueless about the damages made by him and Naruto. "Why don't you take a look?" Zack said, pointing to the area to where Naruto and he were fighting. When Jiraiya looked around the area where they were fighting at, Jiraiya's eyes widened in shock. Holes and dents were scattered around the area that they fought at. There was a huge scorched area where Naruto's gun hit. When Jiraiya looked to where Naruto was last located only to find him missing. "And where is your apprentice?" Zack asked. "I'm right here," Naruto said as he walked up from behind Jiraiya. "Thanks to you too, we will have to stay at Uzushio's dock for a couple of days, completely throwing us off schedule," Zack said. "We apologize for the damages done to the ship and we will pay for all of the damages," Jiraiya said. "I hope he knows that I don't have money," Naruto thought. "I already added the damages to your bill," Zack said. Jiraiya nodded as he watched Zack walk away. "Now what are we going to do?" Naruto asked. Jiraiya shrugged his shoulder as if he didn't know himself. -5.5 hours later, as the ship arrives at Uzu's docking bay, Naruto and Jiraiya is seen sealing their belongings in their scrolls and getting ready to depart the ship. "Are you excited that you are finally going to see your mother and little sister?" Jiraiya asked. Naruto smiled and nodded. Though on the inside, Naruto was unsure if they were still related. "Hey Ayane-chan, is Kushina still my mother?" Naruto asked. Ayane sighed. When she made Naruto a full-blooded Saiyajin, she didn't know that Kushina was still alive. She knows that when she tells him Kushina is not his mother he is going to be devastated, but before she could tell him Vegeta spoke up. "Right now, whoever this Kushina is, she is not your mother," Vegeta said. Naruto is devastated. After all this time of not knowing who is his mother and father, who only to find out that having your DNA rearranged removes your biological parents. Ayane really wanted to come out of her seal and comfort Naruto. "I'm sorry Naruto-kun. If I'd known that Kushina was alive I would have never offered you to become a Saiyajin," Ayane said. "It's all right Ayane-chan, you didn't know," Naruto said in sadness. Vegeta cleared his throat. "I wasn't finished talking before you go all melancholy on me. Now can I finish what I was about to say?" Vegeta asked. Ayane glared at Vegeta in anger. He just crushed Naruto's happiness and that's not all he had to say. "If I wasn't trapped inside of this cage I would kill him in the worst case I could think of," Ayane thought. Hearing silence, Vegeta took that as a sign to continue. "As I said before, right now this Kushina is not your mother. Before I go farther in the explanation let me tell you something that you or the rest of the world don't know. The Uzumaki clan has the blood of a Saiyajin family from long before the Clan Wars era. But they weren't called the Uzumaki clan in that time. They were a part of the Senju clan," Vegeta said, causing Ayane's eyes to widen in shock. "But how? I thought that the Senju clan was created from the descendant of two Sama," Ayane said. Vegeta nodded, signifying what Ayane said was true. "The Senju clan was created by the Sage of Six Paths descendant," Vegeta said. "Then how did Saiyajin get into the clan?" Ayane asked. "There was a time when marrying outside of the clan was taboo, because they wanted their blood to remain pure. But a young Senju lady hated that because she thought that marrying into the clan was incest, which was also taboo in that time. And so she wandered off to explore the surrounding area when she was attacked by a rival clan that was using the area for training young shinobi. She was almost killed when she was saved by a young Saiyajin. He took to where he was living at and nursed her back to health. During the time that he was nursing her, they fell in love with each other. And when she was declared healthy, she had to be brought back to the Senju clan, but she didn't come alone. When she came back, she also brought her lover to live with her and her family. When she had first brought him with her, the whole clan was against it. It went so far that the clan began to distance themselves away from the two. And when they heard that she was pregnant, they basically exiled them from the Senju clan. But before they could be officially exiled, they separated from the Senju, with her family going with her. And thus the Uzumaki clan was formed. Vegeta said, wrapping up his story. Ayane and Naruto were surprised by the story, but Vegeta never fully explained himself. What are trying to say? That the Uzumaki clan is part Saiyajin? Cause if you were, then I already knew about that, Ayane said. Vegeta huffed. I was explaining to you the origins of Uzumaki clan. Anyway, normally this would be considered impossible, but thanks to the Kais you can turn this Kushina and her daughter into demi-Saiyajins, turning whoever this Kushina is into your mother and her daughter into your sister. I know it's a little confusing, but since Naruto had his DNA rearranged from human to a full-blooded Saiyajin, Naruto would not have any biological parents because accentually Naruto was recreated artificially. Naruto and Ayane were surprised by this bit of information. Are you saying that I could change my mother and little sister into demi-Saiyajins? Naruto asked in excitement. Vegeta nodded. Naruto wanted to jump up and down in excitement, but his Saiyajin side put a check to it, so Naruto settled for smiling. Come on, brat. I thought that you wanted to see your family, Jiraiya said, only to receive a ki blast in the face. How many times do I have to tell you? I am not a brat, Naruto yelled out in anger. Jiraiya smirked. If you're not a brat, then what are you? Jiraiya said, expecting Naruto to say nothing. Vegeta chuckled inside Naruto's head. I am an elite warrior, born from an elite species, a species that put fear in all other species in the universe. You should feel enlightened that you're training me. I am the prince of all Saiyajins. You should bow before me, Naruto said in pure arrogance. Don't judge me, that was my first Vegeta impression mixed with my own arrogance. Plus there are not enough arrogant Naruto stories out there, so expect more later on in the story. Somewhere in outer space, in a space pod, an orange-haired teen is seen with a throbbing vein above his eyebrow. Ni-san. What's wrong? Someone said. It's nothing, Orihime. It's just that someone out in the universe thinks that they are born elite. And it's my self-employed job to prove them wrong, the orange-haired man said. Orihime sighed. It seems like Ni-san is at it again. I just hope to whoever pissed off my Ni-san is that we don't find him, Orihime thought. Back to Naruto. After his speech, Naruto suddenly shivered. What was that? Naruto thought. Hearing Naruto's thoughts, Vegeta smirked. That's what you would call Saiyajin's pride, Vegeta said. I'm not talking about the speech. I'm talking about the cold feeling I got after the speech, Naruto said. Ayane and Vegeta shook their heads, completely unsure of what caused Naruto to get that cold feeling that he felt. While Naruto is having a conversation with his inner beings, Jiraiya was having thoughts of his own. If I didn't know that Naruto was Minato and Kushina's son, I would have thought that he was born into the Uchiha clan. I'm going to have to break him of this arrogance that he possesses, Jiraiya thought. Jiraiya was broken out of his thoughts when Naruto started talking. Hey, how long are we going to stand here? Let's go, Naruto said. Jiraiya's eyebrow twitched. Impatient brat, Jiraiya mumbled under his breath. What did you say? Naruto said as he prepared another ki blast to throw at him. Nothing. Come on, let's go, Jiraiya said, a few minutes later. After Naruto and Jiraiya have been walking for about a few minutes, they came towards a large broken-down gate. As they walked towards the gate, you could see the destroyed city. So this is Uzushiogakure, huh? Naruto thought. Uzushiogakure was a great village. It was the very first hidden village. It usually housed the Uzumaki family and some other minor clans that seek refuge during the clan war era. Uzushiogakure was very prosperous and lively. The Uzumaki clan was well known for their fuinjutsu and their longevity, Ayane said. I thought that the Uzumaki clan had Saiyajin blood in them, Naruto said. They did, but due to having a chakra system they couldn't use their Saiyajin abilities, Ayane said. But there is one thing that they got from their Saiyajin blood. It's their longevity, Vegeta said. How? Naruto asked. It's simple. The Saiyajins were a warrior race. We as warriors always wanted to die in a blaze of glory. So our blood cells would die more slowly than others alien races. This gives us the misconception of staying young. We can grow old, but much slower than other alien races. The oldest Saiyajin ever was 250 years old, and even then he didn't die of old age, Vegeta said. Naruto and Ayane's eyes widened in shock. Of course our blood gene had been thinned down due to us mating with other races, Vegeta said as he finished the explanation. Naruto was snapped back into reality by Jiraiya calling his name. Are you paying attention? Jiraiya said. No, Naruto said plainly. Jiraiya eyebrow twice-eyed. Listen brat. Why? Jiraiya was interrupted with a ki blast to the face. Stop calling me a brat, Naruto yelled with his eyebrow twitching. As the smoke cleared from Jiraiya's face, Jiraiya's eyebrow was more prominently than before. Will you stop that? Jiraiya yelled. HMPH, Naruto grunted while turning his head to hide his smirk. Anyway, you need to pay attention to your surroundings. Not paying attention could lead to your or someone else's death, Jiraiya said. Jiraiya's right you know, Ayane said. Vegeta nodded silently agreeing with Ayane. Naruto sighed. I'm sorry, I just can't wait to meet my Ka-san and Imouto, Naruto said. Jiraiya smiled. Don't worry about it, that's why I'm training you. When I'm through with you, they won't even be able to touch you, Jiraiya said. Naruto smiled but quickly went back to a neutral expression. That's the first smile I've seen since we left Konoha, Jiraiya said. Come on Brad, let's go meet your mother and sister, Jiraiya said only to get a ki blast to the face. I am not a brat, you pervert, Naruto yelled. Why must you always do that? Don't you know you're hurting my handsome face? Now how am I going to get the ladies with this? Jiraiya yelled while pointing to his slightly burned and bloody face. Humph. Naruto grunted while smirking to show his amusement. Jiraiya's eyebrow twitched. He really need to get rid of that grunt. He's starting to sound like an Uchiha. Jiraiya thought. Come on let's go, Jiraiya said as he began walking inside the village. Naruto nodded and followed him inside the village. The end. Now we will see you in the next video.